cars. Start your engines!
Ready. Green flag, green flag. All rolling. All the way out. Stay in, stay in, stay in. Come on, come on, come on. Bye-bye, run in. See you later. These guys are really good. Keep digging. Stay in the gas. Hang on there, baby. Did not hit a thing. Why are you waiting so long, man? Bottom clear, shaking you down here. White flag. Hit your mark.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. I am your host this week, Eric Estep, joined, as always, by the usual crew. We've got Daniel Baldwin, a.k.a. Danny B. Talks, right here beneath me. Up over here to my right, stage left, is Jarrett Lundberg, a.k.a. The Iceberg. What is this, a throwback episode? Jarrett, you're a few weeks late. Throwback weekend was last month, but what do you got there? Dude, you're back in the garage.
Yes, I'm in the garage, and I have garage internet too. This is a full-on throwback episode. Like, they're just seeing the garage. They're seeing the beautiful car that I should probably see. I can move out the way this way.
There you go. Yeah, that's what we really need to see. Ooh, nice color.
And what they're not seeing, as even the camera shake is throwback, they're not seeing the Eric. You're actually the one that's running the OBS this week.
I know
because I couldn't.
You've trusted my Wi-Fi, which if anyone watched last week's show, they know that's a pretty big, bold risk. But fingers crossed.
Hey, you know what? I might be even throwing it back to robot voice, like, talking about AI in the chat. I might sound like an AI voice.
Yeah, it's great to have everyone here. Danny, it was awesome to spend some time with you and your wife this last weekend at Nashville. Got to see you and your fiance as well, Jarrett. But Danny, as always, you guys were very gracious hosts. I'm super excited for this episode. We have so much to get to. It's also a Tuesday night. When was the last Tuesday night NWP? I'm sure we could count them on one hand, right?
Jarrett has a stat somewhere. You might just have to look for it.
Well, I'll scroll down and look. But it's a Tuesday. I mean, Danny, if I'm not mistaken, one of let's see, that was
Cito says 2019. Has it been that long?
Yeah, because we, no, I don't think it, no, wait, no, never mind. It's 2021. I know we streamed right before the NWP 400, but I think we all did that on one Wednesday night, which that stream was like a 6-hour stream, and we did a 2.5-hour stream. So it was a very, very busy night for us. But this is a blast from the past so much that we're forgetting stats and everything.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun show, though. It's also 4th of July week. That's part of why we are doing this on a Tuesday. Plans tomorrow, plans Thursday. I've got the patriotic shirt going. We had chants of USA, USA, USA in the chat before we went green here tonight. But I think we should finally get going green on this show itself. Appreciate the super chats we've received so far. We will begin reacting to those at the top of the first hour. But let's start with Nashville Super Speedway. I guess we should just skip right to the finish. 5 overtimes, a NASCAR Cup Series record. Let's talk about the winner. I made the mistake Sunday night of talking about everything but the winner for the first 10 minutes. I'm not going to make that mistake again. We're going to start with Joey Logano, who gets his first points-paying win of the season. Somehow, some way, managed to save enough fuel to last all the overtime, an extra 30-something laps, gets his first win of the season. Danny, what was your reaction to Joey getting the win? How did he do it?
That's a good question. How did he do it? Because, like, when I walked out, so ordinarily whenever we go to races and we're covering as media, we kind of take some time, especially on a hot weekend like this one. You take some time where you're in the media center for a while, pay attention on TV, tweeting about your thoughts on it. And then about 25 laps ago, you walk outside thinking, okay, this race is going to be over in no time. I think that ended up being about an hour and a half from when I walked out to when it actually finally got over, it felt like. And it definitely finished under the lights, and it was definitely still plenty of sunshine when I walked out of that media center. So it was definitely interesting, to say the least. And man, I thought I was in for a good points day. I got the truck win with Christian Eckes. I had the best finish of all of us in the Xfinity race. Chastain was my pick. He was in the lead, lost it 5 to go. I was like, okay, well, I can take him being second. I think I still would have been best. I don't remember if anyone had a Hamlin. And then all of a sudden, Oh, you had Hamlin. So, but it still would have been good. And then all of a sudden, the world blew up, and we went forever, the longest overtime that we've ever had in NASCAR history. And Joey Logano um, must have had twice the size of a fuel hose or something in there, and he somehow had enough gas to not only outlast and win that race, and still had enough for one last victory burnout.
It's wild. It's wild. The chat saying he saved at the pump. A good callback to that.
The
He
pump?
brought the pump
Commercial.
with him in this case.
The
He
pump.
is
He saved
the
at the
pump.
pump.
Yeah, he is the pump.
Man, I was watching that finish, and I went from because John was texting me because he sat in turn 4. It's like, I just want to turn 4, and I got like my drink in hand and just sitting there. I think it was like a rum and coke or something, and I'm just like, this is stupid. And then I finally, by like the 4th or 5th one, I'm just like, I want to see this have the most chaotic finish possible, because at this point I want to see that. But I will say this: Joey Logano, he is not had a great year. You know, I look at his stats so far.
I think this was this his third top 5, or am I wrong?
This, yes, was his third top 5. He has as many top 5s as poles now.
He does a lot of polls.
6 top 10 in 19 races, led 225 laps now. So like, we're not, you know, I think people are going too far on what they're saying about Logano's win in the negative. Obviously, it's Joey Logano. But I don't think he lucked necessarily into this as much as people are saying. There was a lot of luck that played a factor into it. There was a lot of stupidity that played a factor into it. But Paul Wolfe is one that is, since 2011, been able to pull off the wildest and wackiest strategies and find ways to make them work. Sometimes just falls into his lap. Joey Logano is still a world-class driver. He is a champion, multi-time champion. He's a great driver, and he was able to save. And I know that Chris Gabehart actually had a smart-ass comment to throw at him. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Called him slow.
Yeah, he's like, how do you save that much fuel, but you guys didn't? Well, it helps when you're slow, is basically what he was saying. But this team has been, either luck-wise or speed-wise or both, been getting on more of a, I won't say a roll yet, but getting on track. I mean, this team easily was going to be in points-wise, whether they won or not, as long as something stupid didn't happen to them. And this team, to me, with the track layout as it is, as long as he can make it past Talladega, which he's very good at, there's a real good chance that the 22, in an even number year, mind you, could still make the playoffs.
There it is, the even number year reference. I was waiting for it. He's finally starting to look like an even number year for Joey Logano, because he has been better. 3 of his last 5 races, he's finished 6th or better. So to your point, at the short, flat ovals in particular, all of Team Penske is starting to look strong. Cindric got that win at Gateway, Blaney at Iowa, Logano at North Wilkesboro in the All-Star race. They have their niche. They have their particular set of skills that have gotten them somewhere this summer. But Nashville is not a strong suit. I asked Joey Logano in the media center this week, what is Penske's weakness? And he immediately said 1.5 miles. I mean, Nashville's not quite 1.5 miles, but it basically is. And
race is like one.
And if you
looks like one, race is like one, it might as well be one.
And if you look at how they were running before the first overtime, Joey Logano was outside the top 10. Like, he wasn't competitive. Paul Wolfe, to your point, Jarrett, and I gave him a lot of credit Sunday night, Paul Wolfe is a very aggressive crew chief, and it worked a couple of different times on Sunday. First, to get them from the mid-20s up into the top 10, and then later to get them from like 14th, 15th into the top 5. They kept choosing track position over tires because it was hard to pass out there. Left sides didn't wear whatsoever. It was the right call both times. Paul Wolfe, I think, you know, still a lot of luck played into this win, but Paul Wolfe deserves a lot of credit. But that is to say, Logano and all of Team Penske still have a ton of work to do at this type of track. They're really good at the short flat, so if they do get to Phoenix, they'll be a contender. But I don't think Penske is quite in championship form just yet. It is nice to see that they've turned their year around, because 2 months ago we thought Penske was out to lunch. We thought all of Ford was fumbling the bag, and now they're very much in contention. So that's exciting. I love that turn of events.
I will say, though, the way the schedule's lined up, if he just makes it past Talladega and the Roval, There very well could be 2 Penske cars in the Final Four and Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin. I mean,
that would be a heavyweight bout. That's the crazy thing is Hendrick, as good as they were to start the year, no one's really talking about, outside of Larson, I guess, no one's really talking about them as a championship favorite because
he's the exception right now.
Larson is carrying Hendrick Motorsport. Someone called me a Logano hater in the chat. Was I wrong? He was, I think, 15th before the first caution came out, the first overtime.
I'd have to check back
You're
on
also
that,
a Kansas fan, so that's a fair statement.
I haven't hated Joey Logano since I was in high school, for the record. That was a long time ago. Let's talk about the second place finisher and some other notables. Ryan Preece finished top 5, 4th for him. Do want to give him a shout out. And Zane Smith almost won this race, finished 2nd, was about a car length behind Logano. If Joey stumbles anymore out of turn 4, Zane Smith might be in the playoffs right now. Is that insane? Jarrett, your reaction to Zane Smith? He was honestly down on himself afterwards, listening to him on pit road. He was depressed that he didn't win. And I'm like, brother, have you seen where you're at in points? A second place is a win. Wow.
I can't remember the guy's name, but I want to give a shout out to this dude I saw on Twitter. He did a parlay of best finishing, I believe it was best finishing rookie and driver in the top 5.
Chevrolet.
Okay, best finish, Chevrolet and top 5, and it was Zane Smith. Shout out to that guy.
And apparently it said that he had never placed a single bet in his life, and that was just him winging it.
Never placed one again. Sit at 1,000.
Yeah.
Don't start the addiction.
Go out while you're
get any
on
more
top.
good bets. Get any more good bets. But I'm gonna say this with Zane Smith. He was the guy I was rooting for at the end in the last lap to win, because I want, at this point, like the way the race got, I think I might have told you guys before, I might have said it on air. I don't even remember, because this race, I couldn't even remember everything going on in it in the day, in the moment. But this race went from me being, this is stupid, I don't want to, get this over with, to screw it, give me the craziest damn winner we can. I am not on the Zane train, as a lot of the people in the chat would like to say. I think that this is definitely an outlier race, but I think this is the type of race that for a rookie who has struggled mightily, I'm talking Harrison Burton level performance on the regular basis. This is the type of race to get that team, a brand new third Spire team in their first season, a bit of confidence. And I think right now that if you're Zane Smith and you've had this kind of rough year, confidence is the big thing you need to gain going into next year. Your teammates are faster. Corey LaJoie might be off a little bit from last year, but he is noticeably faster than that team. Carson Hocevar, we will talk about him in a bit, still very much faster and at times competing for top 5s and top 10s. I think Zane Smith has the talent. I think the confidence obviously is shaken. This is the type of thing that you use to bolster yourself into the last 17 races of the year.
Danny, what did you think of Zane Smith finishing 2nd?
Man, good for him. Good for that team in general. But I think going back to what Jarrett was saying, it seemed weird that he seemed almost kind of down on himself for finishing 2nd. At this point in your career, with the fact that he's outside of the top 30, he should be maybe you need to humble just a little bit, because he said something along the lines of, I guess I still have that winning edge of me if I'm not excited about a 2nd place. Dude, throw that out the window right now. You are with a team that has only one win, and it was because of lightning. You don't need to be acting like you should be expecting to win at this point. You should be tickled to death with the 2nd place finish. And I know his wife, fiance, I don't remember, she was definitely excited for him. We got to kind of see that a little up close. Claudia told me she saw that. She always loves the I guess the close family moments in NASCAR, and I like that too. And she said seeing that was very special. But yeah, I'm like, Zane, maybe let's set the bar a little lower here and get excited for the wins when they come, what should feel like a win.
I will be devil's advocate on his case. This race to me, not in racing form, but just in pure chaos and the way it all went. And I think, Eric, we are justified to say chaos in this one and insanity. I know that is your pet peeve, but I'm going to say this. This race felt like a super speedway race. Other than Chad Fincham, it felt like at the end anyone could win.
Well, it is Nashville Super Speedway, Jared.
There we go.
I referred to it, I compared it to like one of those Daytona races that ends after midnight with 8 cars still running. Like that's how it felt. Like, you know,
Well,
like the
it might as
Xfinity
well-
race a couple years ago that Jeremy Clements won.
It might as well be. It held Eric at the track for so late that I was already asleep when he comes in at 12:30 and he has to leave at like 5 a.m. I never got to say goodbye to him.
You want to hear the funniest part of that is Marissa and I left at like 3:30ish, give or take. And we were driving past the corner to go to your house, Danny, and I'm just like, think Eric's back from the track yet? Like, maybe we could stop by and say bye to everybody.
I wasn't. I was sweating on pit road, steaming, whatever analogy you would like to make. But congratulations, Zane, on a second place finish. I'm with you, Danny. He needs to celebrate that. I understand having that hunger, that desire to win. That's what you came here to do, but baby steps. And if he's that down on himself after a second, like how down has he been on himself with all the 30 seconds he's suffered through this year? Like at some point you need that mental boost to give yourself the confidence to keep pushing. But congrats to him. I don't want to turn this into a negative Zane Smith conversation. He is fortunate for sure to finish second, but second is second. That's a big deal.
Even when you're good, you're wrong.
Yeah, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, eventually these kids will learn how to finish second and be grateful.
Learn how to be just okay, dang it.
How can I reach these kids?
Zane Smith second, Priest fourth. Mentioned that.
Here's one.
What?
With 2 to go, this guy spun out, went like 3 laps down. Austin Cindric. I don't know if you guys have looked. If you have, don't answer. But I want to ask you if you can remember where Austin Cindric finished in this race. He was on the lead lap.
I'm going to guess that he finished 11th.
I would have guessed like 13th.
We'll go right down. He finished 15th. 15th. He was ahead of guys like Hocevar, Elliott, Byron, Briscoe, Gibbs, Truex.
Well, there are guys,
Bad Brad.
Like Elliott spun, with like 80 laps to go and was up in the top 5 for one of the final restarts. I don't know what happened to him.
Did he spin in the back on one of them? Because I know he spun more than once.
That's what people said. There's an incident. I think Truex might have been involved as well.
Yeah, I think that was the one that Heim was in, that one.
Well, Truex got taken out on the last lap by Suarez, too.
Yeah, there was a whole debacle that didn't, shout out NBC, didn't get coverage of that.
I want to go off the conspiracy theory that Austin Cindric was Penske's sleeper agent that was activated to make sure that all 3 teams had a win this season.
Big brain again, considering Logano was outside the top 10 when the first overtime started. But Joey Logano gets the win. Guys, 5 overtimes. Is that too much? Do we need a rule change, Jarrett?
Okay, I'm going to put my personal bias on one side because I know people know my personal bias is like I would love them to just go the scheduled distance. But I know that you have to think of your fans and you got to think of the preferences of those, that your clientele is. But I think 5 is too many. I think that, I know that like guys like Jordan Bianchi and Jeff Gluck were almost celebrating this. I don't see this being something to celebrate personally. At the same time, I do think the way that modern NASCAR, modern teams, and modern fans are, you need this kind of overtime procedures. I say go to 3. 3. We very rarely ever in any series go over 3.
Yes.
So this is the outlier. I don't want people to think I'm making this discussion because it's the outlier, because we've had 3 and 2 overtime races that have been just as stupid, I would say. But I think what 3 does is it gives you enough chance to have a good normal finish under green. And to me, if you can't do it after 3 times, like 3 strikes, you're out. You're able to get something like this out of the way and make it impossible. Something that I think is pretty dumb, honestly. But you still give the fans probably a 95% chance at a green finish. The way I see it is this isn't iRacing. Like, these are real people in real cars with real money that is being spent on damages that should not be happening in these last 2.
You mean I can't use a faster pair, Jarrett?
No, unfortunately not. You got to be like Brad Keselowski and fall 5 laps down and finish a lap down and just hope that you just skirt across the line. That's really happened, by the way.
That's funny.
I think that there always should be some sort of limit to it, because like if we were going to have another crash and go to 6 overtimes, like at that point we're this race was over 4 hours long. I hope you guys know that. It was
even,
longer.
Even blocking out the rain delay, or the red flag.
The rain delay red flag makes it pushing 6.
Yeah.
This race, just on the time on track, was longer than the Xfinity race and the truck race combined.
Yeah. Those two races were short and sweet. I don't know about how sweet they were, but they're both under 2 hours. Then I'm with you. So I get the argument that for purity's sake, it should go the scheduled distance. I completely get that and respect that opinion. But I think we've conditioned NASCAR fans to expect the race to finish under green under any circumstances. So I'm actually okay with unlimited. I really am. As critical as I was of the finish of this race, and I didn't like the finish of this race, and I thought it was overall unbecoming of the world's biggest stock car series, I'm hesitant to put a cap on it. If you do put a cap on it, go back to 3 like they used to have for X number of years. I'd be fine with that. That's a happy medium I can agree on. But I think some people in the chat immediately were saying, how about 1 overtime? You get 1 and done. I don't think fans who paid money, who traveled hours away to see a race, would be fine with 1 overtime. Like, that's the thing. The disparity between social media and fans I heard from who were at the race in the stands, fans at the race, by and large, loved it. They were thrilled that there were so many overtime restarts, chaos, spins, changes up front, whereas folks on social media watching from home with other things to go do were upset the race dragged on. It seemed to be overall a very stark contrast. And ultimately, the people who paid money to be there, I do think you have to respect their opinion, and they want to see this thing finish under green come hell or high water. So,
well, and if you scroll down and we have our results of the poll, like, we are, at least when we talk about like thinking that this was really dumb and a lot, I think Eric, you and I had the same rating because you have like, I think 40% on your groovy gauge. I gave it like a 4 out of 10. Just the finish ruined it for me. Like, we are in the vast minority when it comes to fans. And that's why I acknowledge, like, I know, like, and call me a boomer, call me a purist, whatever you want to call me. Like, I like scheduled distance just because I'm of the opinion that not every race needs to finish under green. It's like, people hate the stick and ball references, but it's about the closest you get, and you have it in just about every other major racing series. It's like, sometimes the Super Bowl ends in a kneel down. It's the most anticlimactic play in all of sports, and that's kind of the same thing, and we still could have great moments. But that being said, I understand we've crossed the Rubicon on this a long time ago. When we went to 3 and we had 2 overtimes for the 2010 Daytona 500 that had a banger of a finish. When we had 3 overtimes at Talladega back in 2010 that ended in a photo finish with Kevin Harvick and Jamie McMurray. When we had the closest finish ever with 4 overtimes at Daytona in 2018. Like, the Rubicon has been crossed on the purist aspect of NASCAR and a lot of things a long time ago. This is the same one. It's been crossed on the one single overtime. But I like having a cap in most instances. I'll ask you this, Eric, because you said you didn't like it, and there's been others that have went multiple overtimes you haven't liked either.
I've been consistent on this. I didn't like Coda last year, and I was there for that one too. So
my question is this: like, what is the big difference? Like, what would make you like a race with this much carnage and chaos and insanity and all that, with 5 overtime restarts? Like, what kind of payoff would make you as a fan happy? If one of the 3 fastest cars all day still wins. I think that's ultimately what frustrated me. Like, Bell crashing out, he was probably the fastest car. That's fine. That's during the race. He made a mistake. That's just what happens. But Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, they'd put on a show that whole final run. We had built up the storyline that it was going to be Chastain on old tires trying to hold off Denny on new tires, old rivals. I was bought in. We saw a great battle for 5, 6, 10 laps. Hamlin got the best of him with 6 to go. I thought, all right, that was the climax. Good show. We get an overtime. And suddenly first Chastain gets KO'd by Larson being dumb. And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. Chastain didn't deserve a 20th place finish or whatever he ended up with. And then 2 restarts later, Hamlin runs out of gas. 33rd. He didn't deserve that. Then 3 restarts later, Hamlin runs out of gas because who can prepare for 5 overtimes? That's such an outlier. And and he finishes 12th. So that was what frustrated me, was I felt like I'd spent 3 hours watching one storyline develop only for that all to get thrown out. It's like a plot twist
during an end credits or a post-credit scene. It's like, what if the post-credit screen completely upended the narrative you spent 2 hours watching? Like, nobody would buy into that. Everyone would call that cheap. Everyone would call that terrible. So
A Shyamalan movie.
So yeah.
This race was a Shyamalan movie.
So like on my groovy gauge, I gave this race a 40%. I gave Coda last year a 50. I didn't like all the overtimes at Coda, but I gave that one a higher score because the best car and driver still won the race, Tyler Reddick. That's the difference. So I think to answer your question, I want the best drivers and teams to ultimately get those results. I felt like Logano was the 10th to 15th best car, maybe had the top 5 strategy, I guess you could argue, but a lot of very fortunate things had to fall into place for him to get the win. And that, that doesn't always, I don't love that. I want to see the most deserving drivers win. I understand that doesn't always happen in NASCAR, but it also doesn't always sit right with me. That's my take. I don't know if the chat's going to agree. And
Danny, what do you think?
Yeah.
be the mind of sanity between us two crazy people here.
Sorry, I was actually responding to a question someone had regarding our ticker, so I'll just answer it now. We have Eric who's producing the live stream tonight, as Jarrett was having just a few technical issues tonight.
I'm in the boonies. Yeah, I'm in the boonies right now, so it's like internet is hit or miss.
So with that being said, I was playing NWPR a little bit in the chat
well
here.
Played.
So ask me your question one more time.
Well, also Jarrett reminded me in the chat that 600 is our like goal for the night. We're almost halfway there, and I hadn't even popped the graphic up on screen. So thank you all for leaving likes on the stream if you're enjoying yourself. 600 likes, thumbs ups, and we unlock the random driver of the week. It's a steep goal this week, Jarrett, but I think we can hopefully cross it.
I have faith in them.
Let's do
it.
But
Danny,
like how people were saying, the famous midstream technical meeting.
But okay, back on track. Unlike a lot of the people in the race, Danny, I think the question, if I'm not mistaken, was like, one, did you like it? But two, what do you think the right goal about it is? Do you think we should, go back to purist's sake and have scheduled distance, 1 overtime, 3 overtime, or unlimited?
I liked the race, honestly. I think I was probably liked it a little bit more than you guys. It felt okay to me. You never knew who was going to win. That's always fun about it. Honestly, the battle between Ross and Denny at the end was very fun.
I loved it.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah.
As far as like the overtime, I actually kind of like this idea from one of the super chatters gave NIL weather, Zach Willis. He said that I think 3 overtimes and then a 1-lap dash would be good. So basically, you have 3 attempts at traditional overtime, and if that doesn't work, then you just get 1 lap. If the caution comes out, then ultimately that's going to just end the race. And to me, that kind of feels like a
shootout in hockey.
I think it's college football has overtime. Well, yeah, kind of like shootout hockey, but also like in college football, if you go through like I think 2 standard overtimes, then it just goes to be like 2-point conversions for nothing but that until there's a winner. So kind of that's about as close as you can get to that in terms of NASCAR. I'd be all right with something like that.
The college football format comes to NASCAR. I get it. I don't hate it. But anyway, I think we beat that topic to death. What's next, Jarrett?
Before we go to the next topic, we're going full throwback. We got the Iceberg Garage Fly in here too.
Yes, the fly.
Ooh. There's no cricket this time. I don't have to get up and
you just wait. He's on his way.
I don't have to have first-degree murder on a cricket before the end of the stream. I don't have fish to feed it to this time like I did that stream.
The cricket came earlier when we had that like awkward pause for like 5 seconds that we'll have to edit out and post. One driver that we've mentioned a couple times tonight but haven't really dove into is Denny Hamlin. He was in position to win this race before the first overtime, second overtime, third overtime. He was in position to win this race, it appeared. He got into it with Kyle Larson a couple different points in this race. There was one moment, I think, where they might have come together and Logano was also involved. I didn't see the broadcast other than the clip of Logano flipping Hamlin off and then his team trying to explain to him that there was something else that actually happened. But what we did see was Larson racing Hamlin inside the top 5 late in stage 2, I believe, and Larson kind of runs Hamlin wide, very similar to how Denny raced Larson at New Hampshire a week ago. Denny didn't like it this time. He came up behind Larson after the caution flag flew and bumped the 5 a few times. Had Chris Gabehart over the radio yelling, stop, like begging his driver to stop fooling around under yellow. Denny, after the race, downplayed it completely. So like, oh, we're good. It's all fun. It's good. No issue. I know. Everything was fair.
It was so funny. After the race, Eric saw me do it, and like Larson pulled up, and then Hamlin was right behind him, and I was like, I'm just gonna avoid interviews for a second, just make sure nothing's about to go down over here.
Yeah, Larson's not confrontational, but I wondered if Hamlin might go say something. They're both frustrated.
Yeah.
They had top 5 cars, neither finished top 5, but no, it was just weird that Hamlin's words after the race did not match his actions during the race whatsoever. I listened to his podcast today, or at least I'm about halfway through it. He kind of talks about it there, and on his podcast, he kind of sounds like how he did after the race, but also admits that there is a rivalry now. There is a rivalry between these two going forward. He's been reluctant to use that word in recent weeks, but there is a rivalry, and I think it showed on that first overtime when Kyle Larson in third behind Hamlin drove in really deep to turn 1, clipped the apron, slid up and wrecked Ross Chastain. I believe Larson did that because he knew he could try rough up Hamlin. He's trying to get back at him. His spotter was in his ear a week ago. If that's Kyle Busch instead of Denny Hamlin in first place, I'm not sure Larson makes that same move, but an aggressive mistake ultimately ended Chastain's day. I think Kyle Busch was sort of in that crash. Ty Gibbs was destroyed in that crash.
I never heard anything from Chastain afterwards. Was he pretty upset about that?
He didn't, because he finished 33rd. I didn't get him. Was he at the care center? I don't know if somebody's probably posted. an interview.
Trackhouse wouldn't even let him talk. I mean, that's
Well,
the big.
That's true.
I guess that
Yeah.
maybe this is now they're even for Darlington last spring when it was Chastain bonsaiing Larson on a late race
Yeah.
restart. I don't know. Does Rick will Justin Marks need to sit down and have a chat with Kyle Larson?
Okay, I will defend Ross's honor a little bit on this after I just kind of threw Trackhouse and him under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
To Ross's credit, he doesn't really get mad when people race him the way he races others.
And
So,
neither I noticed that with
to his
Larson
credit.
too. They both they don't hold grudges. They're like, I'm gonna be a little aggressive sometimes, and if you're a little aggressive with me, that is what it is. I'll just repay the favor. Like they don't. I agree. I think that's why Chastain and Larson are so beloved by large portions of the fan base, is because they don't do the thing Denny Hamlin did, where his words don't match up with his actions on the track. Fans hate that stuff.
I love Denny Hamlin. Like I used to hate him back in the day, but I've really grown to love Denny Hamlin and agree with a lot of what he has to say on the sport. I'm sorry, Denny, but like, how can you race somebody like that for like 3 years now, give or take, maybe 2 years, depending on how far back you go, whatever it might be, and then get upset that they race you the same way? Like, dude, you know, I think the score at this point is like 1-5. Like Larson probably, I think, has a few more mulligans to go if he really wanted to. I don't see him doing that. I honestly see them talking it off the track, but Denny trying to deny it was a rivalry beforehand. Like, I kind of agree with what Dale Jr. said, man. I mean, just that it's the fans that decide. And this is a rivalry. It was it wasn't a rivalry before, because in my opinion, in order to have a rivalry, and this is probably going to piss some people off, I know. Ooh. In order to have a rivalry, you have to have a back and forth. Both have to be good, and both have to get swipes at the other. That's why I don't consider Bears-Packers a rivalry since like the 90s, because there's one team that wins every time. Like, there's more of a rivalry between the purple team and the yellow team than the yellow team and the blue team. And there wasn't really a rivalry because Denny Hamlin was just beating up on Larson and taking his lunch money. Now there's a rivalry because Larson actually fought back, and Larson seemed to be taking that bonsai move. And you know what? I hope that he just lays low for a bit. Maybe even if Denny gets one back at him, and then come playoff time, when it's going to matter, when Denny is going to say it's finally his year, he's finally going to have that moment with his dad with a cigar. Wham! Right at Martinsville, last minute, eliminated for like the third year in a row
Not
or
the
whatever.
cigar. Oh no.
I mean, just the cruelty of sports can happen in that one moment. And again, I like Denny a lot. I want him to win that championship, but damn, I would find that so entertaining.
So to Denny's point, Larson is aggressive with a lot of other drivers. Like typically he is. Larson is the kind of guy to, slide up in the center of the corner a little bit, pinch you on exit, drive right up to your left rear. Like Larson does do that to a lot of drivers. We've just not seen him do it as consistently to Hamlin. Whenever it's been Hamlin and Larson, it often feels like Hamlin is the aggressor. So that's why I feel like most fans feel Larson is justified when he races a little aggressive with Denny Hamlin these days. But I agree with what you said. Great point that it's now actually a back and forth. That's what unmistakably makes this a legitimate rivalry between two of the best cars in the field. Like, these two guys are going to duke it out for wins and championships for at least the next couple of years, as they've been doing. And it's exciting. Us fans are better for it, getting to see two athletes at the top of their game trading blows, but like in a relatively fair sportsman-like way. They're not wrecking each other, they're just rubbing each other, and that's, like, as they say, that's racing.
David Bell's in the chat, by the way. He says, I support Denny and all his wacky stuff he does.
That is such a good comment. That's such a good way to describe Denny Hamlin. Well, all the wacky things he does.
He's a wacky dude, but like NASCAR fans, he's our wacky dude.
Yeah. Well, another wacky dude is Carson Hocevar. We all like Carson here, friend of the show, but Carson Hocevar is in deep, deep trouble after intentionally spinning Harrison Burton out under caution late in Sunday's race today. This evening, actually, NASCAR handed down a $25.50 $50,000 penalty to Carson Hocevar. That's big cash for a young rookie driver. I don't know what they're paying over at Spire, but that's $50,000. He's going to feel that. What do you guys think? Think it's fair? Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, it's maybe it's a little harsh. He definitely need to be penalized, but I think I don't know. Maybe they went a little too far. I don't know.
Danny and I are on completely different pages here.
Ooh, okay.
All
What do you
right,
think, Derek?
tell me why.
He should have been parked in the race.
Oh my
I think,
goodness.
or at the least been put 3 laps down or something.
Oh, you're saying in the race itself. Okay, that I can
in the
agree
race
with.
itself,
I thought you were saying,
not this coming week.
Okay. Well,
Yet.
considering the fact that he wasn't, maybe I don't know, maybe the 50 grand was a lot for a rookie, but
I think he got off light personally, and it's not because of just this incident. And I said this Sunday night, man. I love Carson Hocevar off the track. We all talk to him about every time we go to the racetrack. There's most of the time he comes up to us rather than the other way around. Like, he's a good dude, and we all like him. But man, can he have some doofus moment on track where he just loses his head. And I want to shout out. We were going to show it the highlight reel he made on here tonight before my internet went to the hills and back. But Braden Movick, he's in the NR night scene. I love his caption, Terrorism 101 by Carson Hocevar. And it's a compilation of all the times he purposely spun out and crashed people purposefully. It's a minute 30, and it's not like it's, one of those compilation channels that milks out 3 crashes for views or something.
There's
it's
half a dozen or more incidents in that clip. Yeah.
And the telling thing for me, one is, I want to say too much but some people, he was in chat, like there's some industry people that now that likes are privated can just run wild and have been liking that thing up. Marissa Gilliland actually quote tweeted it angrily. And there's other drivers, owners, wives, whoever, who are interacting like that. This is a known thing. He's done this so many times, and he's gotten away with it so often. I personally think you take a full win's worth of points away. You take 60 points away. You take 60 away. You find him 100 grand. You make an example out of him. Like, in the start of Pirates of the Caribbean, where he's coming in and there's the 3 hung up pirates saying "Pirates be warned." That's an example. Like, he needs to be the fine version of that at this point, because he's done so many dumb things on track. And I know that not all of them, I think, are purposeful, but it's like you got to keep your head. You're a Cup Series driver, and doing that shit under caution it's dumb as hell. It's stupid, and I think he should be strung up in front of the entire garage. I think you know what I mean. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I think they should have him stand in front of the NASCAR hauler with like a plaque of his penalty, the way they do with the part.
What is it, like the little stock thing that they had, like colonial towns?
No.
What is
they
it
could
called?
do that, but the I don't know. I just know it's used with the guillotine.
You throw tomatoes at him. They should trot him out front of NASCAR HQ and let people chuck tomatoes at him.
I'll say what they should do is they should put him out in front of the NASCAR hauler like they do with drivers and teams who break a rule,
Yeah,
like
confiscated parts.
Yeah, he should be that person. He just sit there at the table and be like, Carson, what did you do?
Like a freak show at a 1920s circus. Like what?
Yeah. He'll sit there, like, and you have that.
Come laugh
wacky,
at the imbecile here.
Instead of like having the bearded fat lady sing, you got Carson Hocevar. What did you do, Carson? I fucked up again.
Oh my gosh. Well,
like make an example. Make him not forget it, because I feel like a couple years from now, when that 50 grand has been replaced in the bank account, like, and when he's higher in points than a Spire car can get him.
Yeah,
I think it'll make more of an impact then to have a big penalty, or bigger penalty would have made an impact.
So I think this is significant. And before we move on, I want to say, if this was Around the Horn on ESPN, I would be like clicking the thumbs up button for you for inserting a Pirates of the Caribbean reference into the NASCAR Weekly podcast. So my point is, I think the penalty actually is fair. I will fall right in between you and Danny. I agree, Jarrett, that perhaps they could have officiated this in the moment and parked him for a couple of laps. But when it was all said and done, they missed it in the moment, just like they missed the William Byron Denny Hamlin deal at Texas 2 years ago. And after the fact, they hit Byron with a 25-point, $50,000 fine. So this was in line with what Byron did, and I feel like it was about equally as egregious as what William Byron did. The difference is history. Hocevar has a worse history than Byron of doing things like this, so you maybe could have considered that and upped the penalty a tiny bit. But I do think 25 points and $50,000 will get his attention, partially because he's locked in a Rookie of the Year points battle with Josh Berry. I think they're reasonably close to each other.
There was 37, I believe,
apart,
and it ain't that close now.
It's not exactly. So that is going to hurt. He's going to notice that, and the $50,000. I don't know how much Hocevar is getting paid. I'd be, I don't know. $50,000 is a lot of money. I don't care if you're making $1 million. $50,000 is still a huge amount of money. Say 10% of your paycheck goes away, tomorrow. You'd notice that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think the penalty's fair. I think it's consistent with what they gave Byron 2 years ago. So I think it's fair. Spire has said they will not protest. What's the word?
Appeal.
Couldn't think of the word. So I guess that's that. They're gonna take it, and I think that's the right call.
Take your medicine.
I do want to we are closing in on our first super chat stage break, but I do want to call attention to Hunter Nixon Fishing. Just dropped a very generous super chat, and he is a longtime viewer of the show. And I just want to go and read this comment real quick. It's just said, I lost my dad unexpectedly a few weeks ago. Watching races the last few weeks has been hard, not having him to watch with. He was a big Chase Elliott fan. I will say, as a Larson fan, I hope Chase wins the championship this year for my pops. Just want to say we're thinking about you, Hunter. That's very sad to hear. Chat, I love to see that outpouring of support in the chat for Hunter and his family. And yeah, that'd be awesome. If Chase Elliott wins it this year, that's going to be really cool. So just wanted to highlight that comment. Yeah, absolutely. We all send our condolences to you and your family.
Yeah.
And,
sorry to hear that, Hunter.
And as far as the other super chats, we will get to those here shortly. We've got just a couple other Nashville topics. We touched on this earlier. Kyle Busch was given his fourth place position back. This was after the first overtime attempt when Chastain got turned. Busch slowed way down, actually got into the wall to avoid hitting Chastain. Caution flies, reset the running order. They give Busch his position back. Brad Moran, NASCAR Cup Series managing director, defended the move on Sirius this morning. I don't know. The rule book is very vague. There was a similar controversy, I think, a year ago at Darlington. I feel like they got this one wrong. If you ask me, Kyle Busch was in the wreck, considering he damaged his car during the incident. I don't see why he was allowed to drive all the way back up to fourth place. That's just my take. I don't know. Do you guys agree, disagree, have a different perspective?
This one's way more egregious than others. Like there's been times before where it's like, hey, I was sixth after the wreck. Why am I put back in eighth right now? Like those ones, okay, whatever. We can.
Mm-hmm. It's a couple positions you can nitpick, yeah.
And it'll it might make a big impact. The NASCAR gods in this one decided nope, pluck on the next restart. But this was fully egregious. There's no reason he should have been up there. I don't know if it's playing sympathy on him or if they. My opinion is they wanted a good story. I think they wanted a good story. They found a gray area in the rule book, and they're like, Kyle Busch. Hey man, we don't have many shots at this anymore. Kyle Busch is good today, and he was very good, and he deserved a probably top 10, maybe top 5 finish. But he should not have been up there. No. And ultimately it cost him big time when Larson ran out of fuel.
That's true. I guess ultimately,
I thought, I'm going to say this too, when he got out of the car and started walking towards the fence,
I thought for a split
second he was going to give him the double bird, because they show all these people flipping him off and throwing shit in the stands. And I thought he was just going to like go full on like, boom, like that. I'm like, do it, man. Let your intrusive thoughts win.
He handled that well, because I thought the same thing. I'm like, they are jeering, and I was out on pit road. The crowd was noisy, giving it
Play
to
it
him.
up, Rowdy.
And I'm like, guys, this dude's been through it. I mean, we joked but we pointed out last week, 3 35th place finishes in the last month. And this one, I don't know where he ended up, probably around there as well. Yeah,
27th.
He is going through it. You don't need to, piling on just seems mean at this point. I understand you don't like Kyle for wrecking Junior in 08, all the shenanigans in 2011, 2012. You don't have to like Kyle Busch. You can at least sympathize with the fact that it's been bad for a few weeks now, for really all year. But also want to give a shout out to Kyle Busch. They were terrible at the start of the race, ran outside the top 30, fell off the lead lap. Credit to that team for working on the car, getting better, and with the help of some strategy and obviously some, a lucky overtime here or there, were able to get their way up into the top 5 late. Like that, that is something. Considering how bad this team has looked, that's something to hang your hat on.
I do gotta, sorry, my allergy medicine's kicking in.
Are we boring you, Danny?
No. I do want to say, though, shout out to Kyle Busch and the fact that he managed to keep his car relatively damage-free in that. Yet his teammate, who was way further back, comes in and plows into Larson, and they very nearly got a 2-for-1 RCR car out special there.
Certified Austin Dillon moment. Provided by, I don't know, what was his sponsor this week.
Well, I'm not bored. My allergy was killing me before we went live, and I had to take some allergy medicine. Now it's kicking in.
Yeah.
All good.
We'll look at the points here in a second, although I want to touch on, we were at the race, so we didn't notice this, but Jarrett, you were watching, I guess you were watching at this point, you were at home, I think, watching the switch from NBC to USA. How was that handled?
I will give NBC a small kernel of a credit on this one, but overall, I don't like when this stuff happens, so I'm going to go in on them a little bit, but they did say well in advance that it was going to happen. And they put graphics on the screen. They did say that. I will give them that credit, and I don't blame anybody at the track for this, broadcast-wise. But it's like I think they're saying it's the Olympics that did it. And obviously, because that was put up right against it, it's why this race wasn't a night race. It's why I'm saying for the next 7 years when this is on TNT or Prime, this is going to be a night race.
Probably right.
So I want to get the positivity in there first, so I don't poison the well too much on this. But it's like Olympic trials, round 1 track and field. As somebody who runs marathons and who's run long distance for like 14 years now, nobody gives a damn about the marathon stuff until it's like the last mile on TV. No one cares. I just need to say that. Like no one gives a damn about shot put and javelin throwing except for like the diehard enthusiasts here.
I don't know.
The ratings have plummeted for the Olympics for years. This race has been really big. Even rain delayed ones have been big in comparison to other ones like it. I think that especially now, I get it. At the end, they would have moved it no matter what because we ended up having the 12 hours of Nashville.
Yes,
But I don't like changing it for something that ultimately no one's really going to care about. I mean, like Olympic coverage was at an all-time low in 2021 after I think an all-time low in 2016. Like nobody, especially young people, nobody cares about the Olympics. I'm pretty sure it has like a similar share when it comes to the key demo as NASCAR.
I don't know the numbers.
I say don't change it longer. Like I get it if you go into freaking pentuple overtime or whatever it was, but I didn't personally like it. I think you could have switched that over and then switched it back. But at least we didn't get the IndyCar treatment, so that's good.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It could always be worse. Is it true that they didn't move it to Peacock either? Like they didn't keep it on Peacock? That's the only thing that I would have thought, hey, I know it sucks. I know it's extenuating circumstances. You should at least kept it available on Peacock. That's weird that they moved it off Peacock.
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
I think it's switching feeds that probably did it.
I'm
not saying it's a good reason.
They could fix. I mean, I don't know.
Yes,
There's
I agree.
probably contractually some. I'm sure with the Olympics and there's probably contracts they couldn't break. But yeah, that's just what it is.
I did see this from a few people that contacted me about it because they wanted their upsetness known, and I think they deserve this. They never switched on a lot of YouTube TV accounts on USA Network to the race. They kept it on, like, I don't know if it was like old SVU episodes or something. So like in certain pockets of the country, some fans didn't get to see the last 60 laps to I think like 100 laps basically. Because it messed up on certain feeds for YouTube TV users. I didn't have that problem, but I know a lot of people did, and they were pissed.
Thinking of that, I really appreciated the transition they did when the race got done. You saw Joey Logano just like celebrating, all of a sudden you heard dun dun, and went straight into Law and Order.
Dun, 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 dun,
That's funny.
dun.
Wanted to give wait, where did it go? I lost it. Oh my gosh, here we go. Big Johnson in the chat, nice, says, how about Justin Haley? Started dead last, had to serve a pass through, fell 2 laps down, fought his way back, was in the top 10, got caught in a wreck, and still finished 13th. I mean, Justin Haley. I mean, it's almost like we haven't mentioned him yet because we almost expect it now. Like, that's how crazy that he and that team.
Justin Haley and just Justin Haley on my forehead. Just so that, like, we made the reference. We know it's been made. There you go.
My stream crashed for just a second. Hopefully we come back. Just for the record, my internet blipped.
I think Jarrett just read a comment about his hair or something.
All right, we're back. All right, sorry about the blip,
No, it
folks.
might have been on my end.
No, it was totally my end. I actually froze. I could see that I froze on my end. We're back though, gentlemen. Sorry about that. We were off the air for about 4 seconds. Didn't miss anything.
Oh no.
Before we get to the numbers, actually, no, let's jump right into the numbers. The NASCAR playoff picture is becoming more clear with Joey Logano winning. The bubble has been blown wide open. What's so funny?
Dude, on our end, you just sped up out of nowhere because you were frozen on our end. You just sped up.
Oh,
Yeah, we went from, let's just go to the NASCAR playoffs right now. And then the third round, sold for NASCAR playoff cut line.
Are we live then? I don't even know. Are we even still live?
I guess I'm
I
freezing.
think we're live.
I froze, apparently. No, wait. It's the stream that froze. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I think the
It's
stream
the
froze.
stream.
Yeah, I figured something like that would happen.
On my end, we're looking at the playoff cutoff line.
That's good. That's what
We have 702 watching.
That's big. Whoa, we just had a spike in viewership. Wait, what the heck? Where did that come from?
Hey, hit the like button while all of you are here. We need 600 tonight to unlock random NASCAR driver and to keep Eric's internet going.
Yeah, hold on. Is my I don't even know.
Fuel us. You're good. If we can see you, you're good.
Okay, I guess we're good. It looks like we're good now. Hopefully that's just a minor spin.
We really are throwing it back tonight.
Well, everyone can see the playoff grid. It's not good if your name is Bubba Wallace or Chase Briscoe. You are now 51 and 78 points out, respectively. Kyle Busch isn't even on this graphic because he's 104 points out. Must win for all these guys. I think there's an argument to be made that if you're Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, Ross Chastain, Ty Gibbs, you're also feeling the pressure of winning a race. I mean, I think it stands to reason one of those four is going to miss the playoffs this year because, hey, Bubba could win, Briscoe could win, Busch could win, McDowell, Todd Gilliland. There's drivers who've led some laps this year who could win a race from below the cut line and blow this up.
I think I called this a few weeks back when, and y'all kind of fought. I was like, I don't need to be too concerned about that right there. But when Alex Bowman was like, I think he was 13 for 14, but he was still over 60 plus points to the good. I said, I don't feel too safe about that. And now here he is, literally, he's 51 points is a good gap, but when you are the cutoff line, that makes you nervous.
I think what we were thinking is like, because we've been around you before, Danny, where you're like all the confidence in the world, and then it goes wrong, and you're just like, this team is like the 2008 Lions, damn it! Like, and it's like, I think that's what we were.
I'm a big Vols fan. Happy we won a championship. But what the Vols are known for is that our fan base has what we call BVS, battered ball syndrome, where right when we're feeling confident about something, South Carolina 2022 happens.
Well, I'll say this. I I do think we're probably going to get, whether it's a crazy one or just one of them right there, as I have to adjust my seat. I think we're going to get a new winner probably underneath it. The season is just too chaotic not to. It's been one of those kind of years where we're not going to get a ton of different winners the way we had one year where it was like 15. But it's a close battle. I mean,
there's Josh Berry. There's, Justin Haley has been good. And that's the thing. Chicago is this weekend. Daytona is still to come. And then Pocono, you see some weird fuel mileage races there. The Brickyard, first race there in the next-gen car on the oval. Like, there are a lot of unknowns still coming up here in the next 2 months. Like, I don't think the cut line is safe.
And we have it on our itinerary here. I mean, that line gets moved up one position. It's 5 points between Buescher and Bowman. 15 up is Ross, and 19 up is Gibbs.
Yeah, it'll be super tight. If somebody from below there wins, it'll be a scramble between those guys.
If it stays this way off points, I'll read this off for you guys. Bowman or Bubba, whichever way they go, up or down, 7 to 8 points a race would need to be made up, which is, it could happen, but every single race, I don't know. 8 points a race would have to be given up by Buescher, 10 a race by Ross, 10 a race by Gibbs. Truex. He'd have to give up 21 points a race to the cut. He'd have to give up, think of this, Truex would have to finish 21 spots below Bubba Wallace on average every single race for him to tie Bubba on the line.
I think Martin is safe. I think that we can say with confidence. But everyone else, no. One, like to your point, one more winner from below the cut line, and it's a scramble between those four.
Because on another end, too, even if there is that new winner, Martin Truex Jr. would be 98 points above. Like, that's a race and a half worth of points, more than a race and a half worth. Like,
he'd be fine.
What Martin's hoping for is that if it stays at 11 winners, it just stays that way for 3 more races, because at that point, he basically can just almost lock in proverbially on it.
Well, let's move on. We got a few more numbers to read here before we get to our first Super Chat stage break. Quick shout out. We have over 500 live viewers, but we still need about 150 more likes to unlock the Random Driver of the Week segment. So hopefully we can get there in the next half hour or so. We're making good time so far. Appreciate all of your support. We don't have TV ratings yet for Nashville. They have not been made public. We do this usually on a Wednesday night. Numbers aren't out as of Tuesday afternoon. But we did finally get numbers for New Hampshire, the rain-delayed race. 1.88 million viewers last week. Not good, but large delays will do that. No direct comparisons. Now it's time, Jarrett, for the poll. The famous iceberg poll. If you are subscribed to the iceberg, you likely see his polls pop up seconds after the checkered flag flies every Sunday. I can read the results. 13,000 fans voted on whether or not the Ally 400 was a good, great, average, below average race. 38% said it was great. 38% said it was good. That's a 76 net positivity. 14% said average, 5% below average, and only 5% said bad. So fans, by and large, we've seen far more positive poll results on this show, but that's still a very positive outlook as to what was a very messy finish, chaotic, I guess, for lack of a better word. Goodness gracious. Jarrett, can you highlight a few of the most notable comments?
Well, first off, first comment was from Vermonter1245. So positive, negative, meme, or a mix of all of them, or some of them.
Can't say I've heard this one.
Yeah, this is a new commenter. I'm gonna go meme because that's how this race finished.
Yeah, I'm gonna go meme on that one too.
So went through the NBC crap of swapping channels because of the Olympics to watch a stupid, silly ending. Wonderful Sunday afternoon.
They are just pissed, negative.
Well, wait, no, that ended positive. I'm torn. I'm
what sounded positive about that? That sounded like they didn't have a good time.
At the end, he said it was a wonderful Sunday afternoon. So I mean, maybe they're like a masochist that they like to torture themselves.
If you guys, you can see the fly on the little knob here.
Wait, oh my God,
he's right at the top.
I can't zoom it in. I would if I could. Crazy.
Oh, hi, fly. I see you.
Photobomb. Oh, is he talking to us? I'm hearing noises. Wow. Does anybody speak insect? Oh, okay.
Flyinese.
Flies.
Let's go into the comments here. Top comment was from one of the few who said, a very entertaining disaster.
Fair enough.
Austin Knapp Wrestling says, Logano indeed saved at the pump.
True.
Saved at the pump. He saved at the pump.
He saved at the pump.
Saint Ogboys says that was amazing. Lucio says fire. Fire. Nap Racing Fan says NBC, let's run single file. Go to USA, let's wreck.
They said we're gonna race extra for the cable subscribers.
Let's see. Dislike says poll 57 seconds ago. Yeah, it just this puts it in scramble. By the way, the normal YouTube thing, it puts it in scramble. I have ones from 2 days ago, from 57 seconds ago. I'll see it all. Let's see. A lot of chaos. Let's see. Gashville Crashway is one of them.
Oh.
What the Crashville? 6 hours of Nashville, the greatest race. Sorry, Eric, but that was chaos.
I agree with you.
will.
I just didn't enjoy all of it, but teach their own.
I think it's more the word chaos.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Let's see. Josh Bob, can we have overtime limits now with 13 comments?
13 replies.
Yeah,
They got
replies, I should say.
Dang.
Actually, 24 likes, so not a full ratio.
Ooh, close. Good try.
Let's see. Limited to 3. There's a lot of people saying 3 green, white checkers, or get rid of overtime altogether. Let's go down to the gutter. We had 436 comments, and usually in 3 days on a normal one, we'll have around 300 for a race that ends up being kind of like this and delayed. So in 2 days to have 436, good job, everybody.
Well played.
Okay, so let's see. I can definitely read that one. If I can definitely read this one, and yeah, I can read them all. Okay, Mike Stevens 7888 said NASCAR sucks.
Dang.
As he replies to.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It sucks. Oh my gosh.
Jake TV says, if you didn't love that finish, then you hate NASCAR. See, guys, we're just grifters. We just hate NASCAR.
Yeah.
Well, clearly a bunch of people thumbed it down, so.
Ross Crash Stain with the lowest voted comment. It's been edited, though, so I don't know if it's accurate.
Oh, Ross.
But I can read it. It says, all around bad. Switch to USA, rain delay, Larson being the greatest driver ever. That's a lot of people have been making fun of Larson.
That's why it was disliked, probably.
Mid racing, hard to pass, shit show ending, questionable officiating, wrecking under yellow. Oh, did I mention Joey won? Overall stupidity.
Dang.
That's the lowest voted comment.
Now that's a brutal takedown if I've ever heard one.
He's usually one of the top commenters, so that's a big change.
Is Ross Crash Stain in the live chat? They often are. I don't know if I see them at the
I have
moment.
not seen them tonight specifically.
It's a Tuesday night. We caught him on
Ross Crash Stain, where are you?
Oh, there he is. He's right there. He's literally as we speak.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So that's gonna do it. That's the famous iceberg poll. Thank you all for voting and commenting. We'll see you here next week after Chicago. Boy, can't wait to talk Chicago in the next hour. Real quick, let's touch on the Xfinity and truck races. Those were the far less interesting, less divisive races of the weekend. John Hunter wins a Gibson Les Paul on Saturday. Well done there. There's a contact between Allgaier, Gibbs. Thoughts on the Xfinity race before we move on?
That's the one I was yawning at. Boring.
Yeah, surprisingly, Xfinity did not put on and neither really did trucks, did not put on a fantastic show. Had me worried about Sunday. And honestly, Sunday wasn't amazing, depending on how you look at those final restarts. But congratulations to John Hunter Nemechek. I believe, is this his second or third Xfinity win this year? He's come back down to the Xfinity series and has looked really good. Maybe I'm wrong. Does he have, I think it's his second. I really
It's
wanna-
multiple.
I think he's still
It's forgettable.
He's still in that time period where he's been back full time in Cup for not long enough that he's not really capped off in Xfinity starts until the playoffs, I think.
This is only his second win of the year. I'm just distracted. I'm looking at the list. The 20 car has 5 wins this year. Nemechek, Almirola, Truex, Bell, Nemechek again.
And you know what? We'll get Almirola back soon.
Yeah, he'll keep adding to it. We'll touch on Almirola in the second half of the show. We got to get to the second half of the show first. The truck race, Christian Eckes, did he lead every single lap?
Yep.
So I was not at this race. I actually watched this race at a bar on Broadway, which was a fun experience. It was really funny. I was there with a good friend of mine who just happened to live in Nashville. I hadn't seen him in almost a year, so we went and got drinks, and we're sitting at this bar, just chatting, talking to whoever, and one of the workers comes out, says, "Oh, excuse me, gentlemen," pushes by, click, 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 and just changes the TV to FS2. Not even FS1. Switched it to FS2 to watch the truck race, and I was like, "Oh, well, thank you, sir." Didn't even have to ask. They knew what I wanted to watch.
Did you hear the broadcast?
No, I could not hear it.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
And Danny, you were at the track, weren't you?
Yep.
Lucky you. That was the worst broadcast for a NASCAR race I've ever seen.
Oh, man. Well, it is
awful.
FS2.
I mean, well, for one, Jamie Little and Phil Parsons were put into a broom closet.
Oh, good.
They showed them at the start of the broadcast. You know how they usually have the TVs close together, so like unless you really look close, like you can kind of think, like if you're not looking close, you can kind of think, oh, well, they're at the track, right? No, they had like these small little computer monitors basically showing the back of the track separated with wide gaps to start and very horribly lit. And I'm like, as soon as I saw that, I thought, oh,
knew what we were in for.
Oh no. Well, halfway through the broadcast, they just give up on putting outro music in and out like Fox usually does. Like, you know how they have that really crappy like
Yeah, I hate that. I really do. Sorry, guys.
Like Jamie Little at one point's like, and Eckes continues to lead.
Commercial.
Tree helps me do this, this, and this.
He's
And
an
I'm
emu.
like, oh my god, no, the Limu emu. Well, and
Doug.
It like the racing was okay through the pack, but it was so bad. It's like at one point, there was the deal with Connor Jones, because of course there was, and we actually talked more about it, by the way, at Danny's on Sunday night or Saturday night, whichever it was.
NWP After Dark.
Yeah, we talked more about it then than the broadcast did, because it's like, we're gonna see what happened here. And it's like, it's tough to see what happened on the replay as you clearly see what happened. Like it was so bad. And like, listen, I rip on Jamie Little a lot. I can't even rip on her in this instance because, like,
she's given nothing to work with.
As someone who was broadcasted iRacing with John in his apartment, we had a better setup than them.
Yeah.
At least it looked that way. I mean, oh my God, it was bad. Like, put a damn green screen behind them, Fox. You can roll it away because they never show them after the broadcast. It was literally just like, all right, here's Jamie Little and Phil Parsons in a broom closet. For all I know, they could have been walking through the halls of the Steve Burns building during the broadcast.
This is completely random here, but you talk about setups and stuff. I just went back to the start of the stream, and I'm realizing Eric's room has gotten way brighter purple than when we started at this point.
It's because I have an open window right here, or like the blinds are open, and the sun is starting to set, so I was getting just
I just had a look, and I was like, wait a minute, go back. It's like he is so much more purple now.
I'm looking, and I'm like, man, I look tan now, whereas at the start of the stream, I'm sure I was like washed out. That's funny. Chat, yeah, go check for me. Check how badly it's gotten. But yeah, Christian Eckes gets the win. There was a report out there from Bob Pockers that he might get consideration for a front row car in Cup. That'd be pretty wild.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Don't know if it's happening, but would be interesting if it did. Congratulations to Eckes. Was this his, man, now I'm just guessing. Was this his third win of the season? Oh gosh, I should have looked this up before we started. I hate getting basic numbers and facts wrong.
The wheel is in his hand.
Let's see. He's got 1, 2, 3. This is his third win of the season. Look at me. Memory isn't going just yet.
I'm saying, man, until I will say this about the end of that Cup race, until 60 to go in regulation, this was one of the most forgettable weekends in recent memory. And then the Cup guys decided, like, it's that meme of, I can't remember who it is. It's like a cartoon where his head opens up, takes his brain out, and throws it in the trash can.
Yeah.
Like that's what it turned into at the end.
Look at me. I'm a true streamer. I've got the multicolored RGB lights blinking in and out. It's going to be a party over here.
Now don't go full I show speed on us.
No. We'll save that for the true after hours show.
You're wearing pants, right?
Yeah, this week at least. Let's get to our first super chat stage break. Yeah, rave party at Eric's. Fun fact, my phone constantly autocorrects race to rave. Like I'll type race, like, oh, great race. And it'll be spelled correctly, and it'll be like, nope, rave. You meant to say rave. I'm like, no, I didn't. Who do you think you're talking to? Anyway,
I have a weirder autocorrect. I think I told Jarrett about this one time. My phone now, if I type in the word the, THE, and it's going to be like followed up by someone, automatically changes it to the last name like Austin Terriel, like Tagriault.
Whoa.
And I'm like, why? I have not talked about this man in years
That,
since he's gone from racing and into politics. I have his phone number in my phone from when we had him on the show way back in the
that
day.
was like season 1.
Yeah, I'm like, I never talk about this guy. Why is my phone autocorrecting to this?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Let's get to our first super chat stage break, gentlemen. We're just past the top of the hour. Going back to the start of the show, Bailey sent a 5, said, as weird as it is, Junior isn't in the booth. At least there's no one to scream at you and give you a heart attack over slight wall contact.
Oh, I got a guard them
Oh,
all.
Jared, what did we just, why? Why would you do that? Oh my gosh, just gave all of our listeners a heart attack. Isaac the Jedi, breaking news. Harrison Burton will be racing for a brand new NASCAR team next year called, drumroll please, Guangdong Tigers Racing. Ni hao, ni hao. That's funny. Alex Luff, thank you for the 2. Happy birthday, King Richard Petty. This is his birthday, I believe, 87 years old. I love that this next super chat follows it up, because then from Christian, y'all are streaming on my birthday today. Cool. Well, happy birthday, Christian. You share a birthday with the GOAT of NASCAR. That's pretty special. Really appreciate the super chats. Gentlemen from Scott McNew sent a very generous 20. Great to see you guys. It's been a while. 2 things I want to ask. If Corey Heim doesn't get the 2311 ride, should he leave Toyota and go somewhere like the Haas Xfinity team? And is this the beginning of the end for Haley Deegan? Let's answer the Heim question first. What do you think, Jarrett?
Stick around one more year, because I think at that point he's still proven himself pretty well. I think he also, you want to stay in that system, because if you look at Haley Deegan, especially I think Michael Marutz pointed this out when she left that Toyota kind of Gibbs system, didn't exactly get any better. I'd say stick with it now, because rides will open up. Bet on yourself long term.
I think it's weird that he's not getting any opportunities in the Gibbs Xfinity car. We just joked about all the drivers in the 20 this year. He's not getting to race for Gibbs. He's always in a Sam Hunt car. He's only being talked about with 2311. Wasn't a candidate to replace Truex.
Isn't he and Ty Gibbs not exactly on square ground? I mean, that might play.
I guess.
The guy's name is on the building.
They had Noah Gragson rumored to go to the 19. I don't know how serious that was, but they seem to have mended their fences, though. I saw them a couple times this weekend, giving each other thumbs ups and stuff. So,
but it's been a while. But I'm saying like the DEI days. Like if Dale Earnhardt Jr. absolutely hated someone like Jimmy Spencer. Let's say Jimmy Spencer in an alternate universe was good. Like, do you think Jimmy Spencer is going over to DEI? I don't think so.
I guess you're right. I just feel like they're all so young. You'd think time heals all wounds. But I'm with you. Like if it gets to a point where 2311 they fill that seat with a Riley Herbst or someone else, yeah, you might have to explore other opportunities, but you also don't want to rush away from Toyota as good as they are. The second part of this question was, is it the beginning of the end for Haley Deegan? I don't know what her deal looks like past this year. I assume she'll be back in the car after Chicago, I imagine, but
for better or worse.
Yeah, who knows? It is interesting that they're pulling her out of the seat. I wonder if it's a concern, because there's 43 cars on the entry list, and they're one of the last in points. They just want to make the race. And
no, they are last in full owner points.
Are they? Okay.
And they, I believe, are behind the 17 in owner points.
Yeah, so they need a driver who can qualify in this weekend, and that's not necessarily Haley Deegan. I think that's a big part of it.
Logano's a pay driver.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's interesting, because it's like I thought of this is the perfect chance to say, hey, scooch over. We're gonna put the guy who the 2-time champion, just won last week in Cup. We're gonna put him in the car and see, is it really the car's fault?
Could be that.
I think it is.
It's definitely. I mean, the car's absolutely better than she's driving it. I don't know if the car's great, but it's better than what it's been this year. I'm going to do a few more super chats. I know we're running a little long here, but I want to get through a few more of these. Bailey sent another 2, said Eckes deserves a promotion to Xfinity. Again, there's a chance he could end up in Cup next year. I don't know if it's likely. There's a chance. Isaac the Jedi said Kenseth the GOAT for wrecking Logano at Martinsville. Sure, I can't condone
awesome
that statement.
It was awesome in person. That's a disconnect there.
I probably would have reacted in person the same way I reacted at home when I watched it. I just was in a stunned silence for a few minutes. Garabuki sent 5, said, I always rolled my eyes at the Mickey Logano comments, but now I think they might be onto something. Oh, gosh. Antar Das says, I went to bed with 100 to go to get up early for work and woke up thinking Hamlin or Reddick won. Then I saw 5 overtimes and Logano winning, and I was thinking, WTF. Yeah, that would have to be quite the shock. I feel like you must have dreamed it or something over the middle of the night. I'm going to do just a few more here from Griffin. Really appreciate the super chat. I think this is the first super chat they've ever made on the channel, so I appreciate that. I truly miss Road America and the 100,000 fans that attended. It's sad they only got 2 years. Do you think it comes back soon?
Xfinity, yes.
It should absolutely for one of the other series. I don't know if it comes back to Cup. Cup has so many potential tracks they could go to. I just don't know if it'll fit into that rotation.
Trucks goes to Milwaukee.
Yeah, and that's a good track too, but someone needs to go to Road America. It's too good of a track and too loyal a fan base to avoid it altogether. Garabuki says, if Logano could have just stumbled off of turn 4 and Zane flew by, imagine the absolute slander the playoff format would be getting right now. Yeah, even as someone who mostly likes the playoffs, I can agree with that. I'm not a huge fan of winning your end. That I have been consistent.
You've been consistent on that since we met.
We mentioned the NIL weather. Zach Willis mentioning 3 overtimes and then 1 lap dashes from there on out. The college football format, as we're going to now call it. I think this will be our last super chat for now. We'll get to the rest at the end of the show. This is from David Bell, our boy. Hope you guys have a safe and awesome July 4th. Freedom isn't free or a gift. Wild race this weekend. Only the second time with this tire. I think he's referring to Chicago. It is going to be crazy out there. But yes, happy 4th of July to all of our American fans out there. Happy Independence Day Thursday. Hope you all have a fun time. Stay safe. Don't lose any fingers, please. That's going to do it for our first Super Chat stage break, gentlemen. Next up, I think it's time for our own version of a weather delay that's far less frustrating than a real weather delay. It's the lightning round here on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what have you got for us?
I'm not getting struck, am I?
I don't have the graphic loaded, unfortunately. Let's see. I can throw up the.
I'm spared.
I can throw this. I'm like flashing the point standings on the screen. Wait, I can do the thumbnail. That's... All right. Sorry. I hope we don't have any epileptics in the chat. Sorry about that. Should have issued a warning. Anyway, what's on tap for the lightning round, Jarrett?
The points are only scary for the Bubba fans and the Briscoe fans. But first off, a shout out to the Spotify crowd who puts up with us. I asked which track they were most excited that's being added into the 2025 playoffs that we found out last week. 3% said both New Hampshire and Gateway. 3% are very happy boys and that are liking their flat tracks. 27% said Gateway is the one they're excited for. 29% said New Hampshire. 41% said neither. So,
dang.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Connor Zillich is in discussion to go full-time Xfinity race next year for JRM, hopefully in the 9 car. If he can't make it work, no one can.
Yeah.
Riley Herbst has said he has options for 2025 in Cup, Xfinity, and trucks. Which, let's be honest, guys, if the funding is there, he is totally going to Cup.
If he gets a 2311 seat, he'd be foolish to turn it down unless there's a stipulation there, because there was some reports out that Heim is the 2311 guy for the future, so maybe it'd be like a 1-year deal for Herbst. I don't know. Maybe he wants more of a long-term stability play. I don't know, but if he has a 2311 seat, he's probably going to choose that.
By the way, guys, I have to turn off the chat on my end because my phone is dying and I don't have an extra plug-in. So
oh, no.
I'm flying blind. They can slander me all they want.
Oh, beautiful.
And I won't be able to see the chat when we're doing Random Driver, hopefully.
Oh, okay. Twist.
For all of you Hendrick fans, you won't be seeing any more crop tops and booty shorts at the track because Hooters has had their relationship with Hendrick ended by Hendrick because it sounds like they didn't pay, basically.
They've fallen on hard times, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, they no longer got the money for racing.
Well, yeah, actually, if that's what you're alluding to, Hooters is actually having real business problems now.
They are, yes.
Our generation doesn't like Hooters. Take that as you will.
I mean, but think of it like this. The economy is hurting really bad due to inflation. Many people got to choose whether or not to go out and eat. Most families definitely ain't probably going to Hooters. So, I mean, it is
the fun ones are.
It is a very, it's a very niche restaurant. And I'm not surprised that it's taking a hit right now.
The last time I went to Hooters would have been probably 15 years ago with my baseball team, and we almost got thrown out for dumping hot sauce in the pitcher of Coca-Cola they brought to the table. That was it. I was like, I feel bad for the poor wait staff that they had to deal with a bunch of silly 11 and 12-year-old boys messing
Who
with.
took you to Hooters at like 11 or 12 as a baseball team? I get individually, like in the family, but like, whose idea was it to take a bunch of 11 and 12-year-old boys to a Hooters?
There's far worse, I feel, out there.
No,
than
I mean
Hooters.
that's a like if you guys won, that is a great
Oh
prize.
hell, no! I think we were pretty bad that year. I think they were just maybe they're trying to
Oh,
inspire
that's a good
us.
consolation.
Yeah, maybe they're like yeah, I don't know.
Okay, when you're up to bat, just think of the waitress. Try to impress her. Don't think of her too much though. Like we don't want to get too bad here.
Two people asked what position I played. Pitcher and third base usually. If I wasn't pitching, I was at third base.
We talked about it earlier, but Joey is jumping in for Haley this week.
Yes.
I mean, at least it's a good driver they put in. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be really embarrassed if it's like, who's taking over for me this week? Oh, Keith McGee. Like that might not be a little upset. Also, just to let everybody know, NWP has its own channel too. You can look up at NWP Clips because it was the old Clips channel. We now re-upload every episode on there if you've missed it. So you now will get two options instead of just subscribing to all three of us and hoping you see it. You have two options. So definitely check that out. We might be doing some specials at some point. We'll figure it out, but we'll definitely be expanding on that. We're being consistent. We've consistently had stuff for about a month on there now.
Yeah, look at that. Look at us. The bare minimum.
Yahoo! And also, remember next week we are on my channel for
Yes, we are.
NWP. I did not change it on the itinerary on Wednesday night, July 10th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Our buddy John Ramos will be on there. We're actually going to do our first big announcement about the NWP 400 coming up this August. So be sure to be there, especially if you want to be in the race. You need to definitely be watching that moment when we start talking about it. And then David Land will be coming on for Brickyard Week. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Looking forward to it. Got a couple of great guests coming up in the month of
Flash the
July.
points.
The what? Yeah, we got
Flash the points.
we got it. Yes.
Scare all the 23 and 17 or 14 fans out there.
Sorry,
And maybe
gentlemen.
48 fans.
I had to find my graphics. I'm not used to hosting. It's been a year, 2 years maybe. I don't know. But that'll do it for the lightning round. We finally made it to the second half of the show. A couple of news stories to touch on before we get to our some of our more fun segments. We're less than 100 likes away. I can't believe it. We might actually hit our goal of 600 likes. Well done, everyone. Let's start with Josh Berry is reportedly heading to the Wood Brothers. The official announcement is expected for tomorrow morning. I noticed this after I put my video out today that Bob Pockris agrees with me and does not believe that Rodney Childers is going with him. So with that understanding, Jarrett, do you think Josh Berry to the Wood Brothers is a possibly winning combination?
I think it can be. I think that how he performs, because we know this team with Matt DiBenedetto was a playoff team.
Yep.
We know this team with Ryan Blaney was a contending winning team.
It was a playoff team, too.
Yeah, and we know that with Harrison Burton, it's been a damn struggle.
Yeah.
We know also that it might not necessarily be one for one the same as a Penske car, but it is basically alliance-wise the closest thing you can get to a fourth Penske car. So we have all of this knowledge in play. We're going to find out how good Josh Berry is. We're going to find out how cup caliber he is. That we're going to find out if it's him being really good in partnership with Rodney Childers, or if Rodney Childers is being the new Kevin Harvick and hauling SHR on his back. I think those are the questions we're going to find out. I think that Josh Berry is a capable driver. I think that he has proved a lot to me this year. Like, I think he's much better than I had previously thought he was. I think that this team next year will be on that graphic we were flashing up. He'll be on there, whether it's above or below. I think either way, for both Josh Berry and this team, that's a win. That's my prediction.
You've given me too much control this week, Jared. I can flash whatever graphics up whenever I want.
No.
Danny, what do you think? Josh Berry to the Wood Brothers. Will this work?
I'll be honest. I don't know if he'll end up winning in this car.
Ooh. All right.
I think
out there.
I think he can get some top fives. But at the same time, I don't know if Josh Berry's ever going to win a cup race, honestly. I just don't know. I think he'll have some flashes of
Bold.
greatness, but I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily the move.
Is he gonna be like the new Mike Skinner, like somebody who can like be that fringe top 10 guy, but it won't
I
get a win to you?
mean, maybe. I mean, it's like,
That's bold, man.
it's like, yeah, he's got a great opportunity right now, but I mean, I think this car can be okay on the right occasion, but maybe he'll win a super speedway race
I'll be right back.
well, okay, bye.
He's going. You've offended him, Danny. But I don't fully agree with you. I think he's going to win. I think he can win in this car. I think with Josh Berry behind the wheel, this is a borderline playoff team. I guess I agree with Jared in that point that he'll be on that graphic we just showed. He'll be on the bubble somewhere, potentially nabs a win. The bigger thing to me is who will the crew chief be? Is it going to be Jeremy Bolins, who's been there for roughly the last year, who's
I
won
think that
races?
plays a lot into my thoughts.
Yeah.
If it is him, I definitely don't see him winning.
He did win. He won with Ryan Blaney in Wood Brothers equipment, but that was 7 years ago.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
And these cars are not close to the same.
That's the thing is, so you look at the numbers. Wood Brothers before Harrison Burton were a respectable team. They were top 20 in points every year, occasionally sneaking into the playoffs. Since Harrison Burton, they've been a 30th place team. It's a sudden drop off. At the same time, that was also the first year of the next gen. So, they would come out of the Penske shop, work with a lot of the same Penske people, but is there something about this new car that the Wood Brothers somehow, some way is just not figuring out? That could be part of it as well. I think not bringing Rodney Childers over there with Josh Berry could be a huge mistake, but I also get it. Penske has a lot of good people in-house they trust. They don't want to push them aside. I get it, but we also know factually, because he said so, that Josh Berry's their second choice. Like, Wood Brothers went for Chase Briscoe first, and he went to Gibbs, so Berry is a plan B. He's a good plan B, but like, isn't that kind of awkward, like knowing your plan B when you take the job? I mean, I guess Josh Berry's probably just happy to have a ride after what's going on at Stewart Haas, but that's a little awkward, right?
I mean, it's probably motivation, I'd say. Yeah. If I missed anything, I apologize. Just need to tend to something. But
just the chat going after you, but you can't see it anyways. So no, I'm kidding. They're not. I was just,
okay. But they didn't hear anything. No, they didn't hear anything.
What happened? What are you trying to cover up, Jarrett? What just happened?
The two dogs outside met for the first time. Not like anything bad happened, but they were not.
There's a lot of
pleased to see each
other. Oh, that's a good mic you have there.
They're not. No, everyone's good. We're all good. We're all good here. We're not Michael Vick in this thing.
Terry said the fly spit Jarrett back out.
Two dogs met the fly for the first time, and it didn't go good.
The fly won. The fly's like, damn it, I'm the main mascot of this show. If we ever do get a mascot, by the way, for this show, we should just make it a bobblehead fly.
Beautiful.
But I'll say, if I'm catching up the right way, being the second option, like, I would want that as motivation. Like, so you didn't really want me here. Like, I'm just the best option you got left. Like, up yours. Okay, let's go. Let's win this thing.
I'll
man.
show you. I'm gonna win for you and bring you trophies and make you money. Oh, wait a second.
I'm gonna pull an inverse of Kyle Larson a couple years or last year. I'm just not gonna show up to victory lane.
Yeah, I think it's gonna work. I think Berry and the Wood Brothers together are a borderline playoff team that might squeak out a win, like a 1 win a year. That seems reasonable to me. And we'll see if this is truly a fourth Penske car, and maybe if it's Jeremy Bolins, maybe Berry and Bolins hit it off. Bolins had if you go back, he had a 4-win season with Brad Keselowski, like in 2019 or whenever that was. So he's good. He's shown he's solid at the very least. We'll just see if they can make magic happen in the next gen. There was an interview a week or two ago with Josh Berry where he actually compared the next gen to a late model, which I hadn't really heard that comparison before, but like, I'll be honest, I thought Berry was a slight disappointment in Xfinity. Didn't he go winless his final full-time year of Xfinity in JRM equipment? He didn't win a race.
He did, I think.
I don't think he won his...
Did he win at Charlotte?
I don't think... somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Chad will be up me if I'm wrong. But I know he won 3 times his first full-time season. I think that was 22.
Might have been Charlotte. That might have been the year I was thinking.
I think last year he did not win a race. He was still good, but he did not win a race.
I can't remember.
And
like,
so
he was very unmemorable last year.
And so that's what it's like. He got the Cup gig, and I'm like, okay, he's a seasoned race car driver. Maybe it was just whatever happened in Xfinity happened. maybe the next gen just suits his driving style better, and maybe that's what we're starting to see this year. Chat said he was close a few times but did not win last year. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's just this next gen somehow, some way actually reminds him of home, if you will, reminds him of the short track scene. And if so, who knows? I think they can make the playoffs together. I think it'll work out. Where does Rodney Childers go? Do you think he retires? Do you think he ends up maybe some big team poaches him? Maybe he goes to front row? I don't know.
I'm not confident, I'd say, on any of them, but one that I've heard a lot of people, not industry people, but just a lot of people make some sense of, and I'm going to talk about this in my video tomorrow morning, a little more in depth, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays at Haas and is paired up with Cole Custer, because I won't say similar situation, because I think Cole Custer is a much better Xfinity driver than Josh Berry was, but Cole Custer obviously does have some amount of talent. Like, there's no way you can win a bunch of races, run really well, even in the best car. I mean, Casey Mears 2007 called to show you, like, yeah, you can win one race, but you're not going to be repeating that over and over again. But I would like to see what Rodney Childers can do with a refreshed Cole Custer. A Cole Custer that is the sole focus of a race team. Especially if they don't get Ford support. I don't expect them to be a playoff team, but they could be a team that just randomly pops up as the fly pops up on my camera. They could just pop up, win a race out of nowhere. Not even just like, a random 550 win at Kentucky win, but like an actual speed, good driving win. If they have any support from Ford, though, especially a good amount, just saying, man, it could be interesting. He could be that pop-up driver next year that no one's expecting to make the playoffs.
That would be a shocker. That would be a shocker with Haas factory team especially. I don't know. I don't think he stays there. I think that team is, if I'll be honest, I feel like that's going to be a skeleton crew. I feel like there's a good chance come 2026 that team won't exist. It could be a one and done, sort of just
very well could
phasing out. I don't know if Rodney Childers would want to attach himself to that, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be. Just an early bold prediction before we get to our big prediction segment. One more story that came out just after our show last week. The long rumored story turned out to be true. Back in May, during a JGR Toyota team meeting, there was a physical altercation between Bubba Wallace and Eric Almirola. JGR viewed Almirola as the instigator and suspended him for, we now know, about 2 months. He'll make his return in a couple weeks at Indianapolis, I believe, back behind the wheel of the JGR Xfinity number 20 car. But Bubba was asked about it at the track this weekend since it was finally made public, and he didn't have much to say other than he said, refer back to what I said a year ago when he called Eric Almirola two-faced. He said this weekend that Almirola has, he alluded to the fact that Almirola has a squeaky clean image that the team wants to protect. So, I don't know, Bubba kind of said a lot without saying a lot. Clearly, he still doesn't see eye to eye with Almirola. Clearly, something did happen. Was JGR's reaction appropriate? We don't know because we don't exactly know what type of altercation occurred. But I don't know. Reaction. Do we have a reaction at this point? Is it just it's done? It's happened? It's over with?
I could totally see. I could see because there's been a little bit now because of this of like, Eric Almirola could be a bit of a hothead now that we found this stuff out, especially with Bubba Wallace. The two of them don't like each other. And we know this is something that's happened since the Petty days based on what Bubba at least said about what Eric said to him about that. I think we actually talked about it a bit on the show early on. Back in the day. There's
been tension there since Almirola's injury, effectively, in 2017 when Bubba subbed for him. Like, there's tension between those two and the team, and then you remember Smithfield left and Richard Petty was mad that they backed out. Like, there's been tension between that circle for 6-7 years now.
I totally could see it going like this. I know it's reckless speculation. I will say that now. This is not
how preface this. This is purely speculation.
Reckless speculation. My speculation is, that Almirola initiated the fight. I think that's probably the truth. My speculation is I think Bubba Wallace probably said something because, like as much as he's gotten better at his emotions, Bubba Wallace is very good at being very chippy and getting the one-liner in, kind of like he said about maintaining images, stuff like that.
Yep.
Where he'll just slide it in. I guarantee he probably said something and Eric Almirola started swinging or went after him.
Oh, yeah. I believe. It's purely speculation, but Bubba does. He lets his intrusive thoughts out sometimes. And Almirola has shown, he showed us a year ago that he can get physical. If you say the wrong thing to him, he will push you, he'll shove you, something will happen.
And I'll say this too before a bunch of Bubba fans get mad at me, because they're I found them very easily one to trigger a few people on that one. I will say this. Unless Bubba said something about Eric's wife, mother, or children, did not deserve a fight at him.
Probably
I'll say
true.
that too.
That's
I'm going to
probably
say that
correct.
too to defend him on that. So if it was anything racing, career, competition-wise, it probably does not deserve getting punched, as much as so many Facebook people will probably want me to say it does. I'm just going after everybody today, man. Bring it on.
You've been
I'm
on it.
having a good old time, man. Like, yeah, I'm just chilling here. But man, if I'm just saying, somebody at Joe Gibbs, like Racing or Toyota, if somebody just wants to leak that out onto Twitter, I'm not gonna say no, because I would like to see who won, or if they got pulled aside like they do at the racetrack.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Don't know which party. I have a feeling this all stemmed from someone saying a rather non-Christian word to somebody, and someone just lost their cool.
There's a lot of non-Christian words out there. Danny, you got one for us? What do you think he said?
Synagogue. I don't know.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I could say some of the words that might have been said.
That's probably for the best. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. I'm sure.
Yeah, good there, Eric.
Yeah, so we know Almirola will be back in about 2 or 3 weeks here, so we'll see what happens. We'll see if there's any more confrontation. They probably won't be on a racetrack together this year, but we'll see what goes on. With that being said, we are closing in on the light goal, gentlemen. I wasn't sure if we'd hit 600 tonight. It's a Tuesday, kind of a weird time of the week. Not like our typical selves, but we are less than 30 likes away from 600.
We have enough people watching. I say, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to gaslight you a little bit. Just click it since you're here anyway. So just might as well click it.
I mean, I honestly don't see why you wouldn't. It's free, takes minimal effort, and makes us really happy. See? Look how happy it makes us.
Happy.
My face is looking really red with this lighting behind me. But all right, we're closing in on the 600. We'll go crazy when we hit it. But for now, let's do our accountability segment. Jarrett, do you want to take the lead on this? I don't have the graphics up this week, so I don't know how best you want to explain how we did, but we can jump into this.
How about this? Because I can still pull up my OBS and look at it.
Okay.
Okay. So they hit the like goal.
Oh, they already did. Jeez, that was quick. I thought we'd get at least one round of predictions in. Whoa.
I can't see how many people are watching right now. Then
We have
3,750,000, Jarrett. The entire state of Wyoming is tuned into this show. Actually, I don't think is there a million people in Wyoming?
No,
it's
there's
like
not even
800,000.
It's the lowest populated state, I'm pretty sure.
Every single person in Oregon. How many people? There's probably about 3 million, 4 million people in Oregon. All right, a lot of people.
We should probably stop embarrassing ourselves.
It's 600 people, Jarrett. Why'd you make me?
We have a small town in Ohio watching us right now. Let's be realistic.
Alrighty then. So for the prediction segment overall, just letting you know, each host makes 3 motorsports show or NASCAR related predictions. We keep track each week. And by the way, if you guys ever want to make a prediction about me, just keep it amongst yourselves, and I'll just take my headphones off and you wave me back over, and we'll go from there. I know I've made predictions about you, Eric, and I don't know if I've made one yet about Danny. But we also keep track each week, as we're about to do in our accountability segment, of the right and wrong predictions. It was a rough one. And we want to keep the predictions concise. Then 2 to 3 years. If it leaks over 3 years down the road, it's okay. For me, I'm just going to say now, guys, don't laugh at how many I got wrong, because it was a rough week for all of us. I got 3 wrong. None right. I said Josh Berry's 3rd place finish at Darlington would be either tied for or the best finish for a rookie this year. Damn you, Zane. 3 1,000ths of a second, and I could have kept it alive.
Dang.
I said Clint Boyer would run 7th or better at Nashville in the truck race. He did not. And I said Josh Berry and Ross Chastain would finish 1-2 at the Battle of Broadway. And you know what? Had that caution not come out just...
Yep, they would have.
Yeah, they were first and second.
They were setting up.
And it was damn fun.
I was setting up for him to get a guitar there at both tracks.
And I will defend Nashville Fairgrounds, because they reset the order because of the caution back to the previous order. It's a short track. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Short tracks across the country, and on top of that, no scoring loops. So I defend Nashville Fairgrounds on that one. It's not blindly defending. That's the rules. We want to change them? I don't know. Talk to them.
Talk to Bob.
Eric. Yeah, talk to Bob. Eric, you got 1 right and 3 wrong. You said Corey Heim would make a second Cup start in 2024. He did.
I did. There you go.
You also said one of the Nashville. Oh, it's raining hard out. You might lose me again, so we better get through these. You said one of the Nashville races would be announced to be the hottest ever. I checked with all 3 chats. I checked with people who were at the track. I checked with people watching at home. No one said they heard that, so we're gonna count it wrong.
Dang
it's proven right.
It had to be close.
It had to be, but I think 21 beat it.
Oh my gosh, what was that?
That was a lightning strike.
Oh,
Yeah, that was loud.
It sounded like someone slamming a dumpster closed.
I'm looking in on where Jarrett's at right now, and you're getting a good strong line of thunderstorms coming on you right now.
Oh my
Great. All right. Well, let's get through this. Hopefully. You said that was freaking loud, man. That scared
That was
me.
Crazy.
You said Riley Herbst would finish top 25 in the Cup race. He did not. He
Damn it,
finished, I
Riley.
think, second to last.
He got wrecked by LaJoy. Come on now, Corey.
Corey was near the front, and when he's near the front, things go wrong. And he said Toyota would sweep the Nashville weekend. They did not.
No, not even close. Or wait, no,
And then
not that close.
Danny got 1 right and 4 wrong this weekend.
Yes.
He banked a lot on this weekend. He said the Cup race would finish under the lights. Danny, you were right.
Good job.
Danny knows his Tennessee weather.
He does.
You said Joey Logano would go winless in 2024. He did not.
I'm still banking for that 4 wins this season, though.
You said that what's even near. You said that Alex Bowman would score a top 5 at Nashville. He did not. He at one point was in the top 5 on one of those overtimes.
Yeah.
You said Tennessee Titans quarterback Will Levis would be attending this race. He was in the Caribbean. I don't think he's even in the country. Or he might have been in Hawaii. I don't know. He was not on the mainland. You also said Ross Chastain would win a guitar in Nashville.
That one was actually really close.
Yeah, it was.
I'm going to tell you now, I'm totally leaving that thunder boom in for the Spotify guys. I'm scaring the shit out of somebody on their way to work.
It was pretty quiet, but it definitely was
I
hear that. Like, that
It wasn't quiet here.
Side note, I guess it wasn't really said for this one, but I did get another one that Eric's internet would stay strong enough for him to finish last week's show.
Damn, I should have put that one in.
Yeah.
I counted it in the prediction percentage.
You did.
Eric is leading at 37.50%. I'm down to 35.14, but still pretty strong batting average. Danny now up to 26.19%. So that means Eric starts us off, and people are going crazy. Man, are we gonna get a tornado through here or something?
You're under a severe thunderstorm watch. I just looked at it.
Well, I'm hearing people inside the house kind of going crazy right now. I don't know what the hell is going on, but we're gonna finish this show, or I'm either gonna finish this show or see God, one or the other. We ain't going in between on this one.
All right, Andy J. My first prediction: Eric Almirola will be back at Gibbs next year. I feel like a lot of people are gonna think he's not, but if he wasn't coming back next year, or if that was off the table, I think they would have just fired him instead of letting him finish the season.
Let's see. Okay. I think I can do this one because I don't think Eric can really control it. So I think he can hear this one because you invited me and Danny to your wedding coming up.
I did.
My prediction is,
Oh no.
and you don't gotta say so now. You can let me know, and we can start this rolling off next year. My prediction is there will be at least one NASCAR or YouTube mention or reference in a speech at Eric's wedding.
Oh, there has to be. I will be shocked.
There will be at least one. And I won't. I don't know if Amelia's watching right now, so I will. If she's not, I will not
She does not
contact her
watch
to
this
poison.
show.
Okay, so I will not. I will not contact her to poison the well. I'll tell Riss and Danny and I we won't poison the well on this one.
Yeah, you guys aren't allowed. I don't know if y'all are doing any speech. I don't know if
No.
this is gonna happen, but you guys aren't allowed to do it. I mean,
No,
Gotta
okay,
come
like
from
if
someone other than me and Jarrett.
Yeah, if Danny and I are doing a speech there, like
'Cause
even if we
Jarrett
do
could
make a
rig this.
reference-
he could just get one.
well, and that's the thing, even if we make a we don't count in this because that's unfair. Like that point, like that's blatantly rigging the game in my favor.
We'll see. I will see if it happens. So my best man is not a NASCAR fan. I don't know if he'll bring it up. He might.
Me and Jarrett are probably gonna be sitting beside each other at the dinner table afterwards.
I'm gonna sit there with the doc.
The second we hear it, we'll be like,
yes,
there it is. Write it down.
Yeah, wait, you might hear me and him cheer. Well, you'll be like, it's like, Eric, he's known for his channel covering NASCAR on YouTube. Woohoo! Let's go!
No.
Prediction of the year.
Who let these fans in here?
Wait, okay, sorry. Tell me the specific words you have again, Jarrett.
It is a NASCAR or YouTube related mention in any way. Or reference in any way, something to Eric's channel.
Okay. Just making sure it's not like they have to say specifically those words, and they can be like, he covers automobile racing on a video platform owned by Google.
Yeah,
any
kind of reference.
Okay.
Any kind of reference counts in this one.
Right. Sorry that
we're sorry, Eric. We're making it work related.
Chat's asking why they weren't invited. I'm sorry, chat. Catering would have cost too much to invite all of you.
Oh, what? You're not gonna go and just randomly stream it on the NWP channel?
Ooh, don't give me any ideas now. No.
What if I just film a 30-second video? What's up, everybody? It's just like one of those annoying YouTuber videos.
Oh my gosh, please make a scene at my wedding. That would be amazing.
I'm here at Eric Geestep's wedding, and we're gonna challenge him to do this Mr. Beast style thing. Let's go.
He's about to marry his fiance today.
Smash that
But
button.
what we didn't tell him is that we have a Matt Kenta 2003 full-size car out there, and we got to make him choose.
No. He's about to get married to his fiance. What he doesn't know is Matt Kenseth has become an ordained minister in the state of Texas.
Oh my gosh, I need that to happen. I need somebody to get Matt Kenseth at our wedding. If he shows up, I might leave with him. No,
I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write that down.
Matt's like, it should have been me in that white
dress. That's the only way that the prediction counts in my favor. If I somehow manage to pry Matt Kenseth out of the boonies of Wisconsin running marathon training to come to your wedding, then it'll count, and you won't care.
That would be the greatest wedding gift of all time.
We need to move off of this one. I need to get my first.
Yeah, one. we're gonna jump. We probably have jumped the shark.
That should have been me in the white dress. Y'all are crazy.
All right. I'm gonna double down on last week's prediction since you guys both been having issues. Eric and Jared's internet will stay strong enough for them to finish this show, or at least not drop out of the Zoom call.
But rooting for it. Oh, no.
Nice try.
He got me for a second there. I just turn off the OBS for 3 seconds. Oh, we lost internet, guys. Oops. All right, my next prediction, I did a similar one last week, or 2 weeks ago, and it worked out for me. I think Shane Van Gisbergen finishes top 5 in both races this weekend.
All right, I guess this is the layup round here. I'm gonna. Well, people are gonna call me out more for this layup than you, I think. But I think that SVG will win at least one more NASCAR race this year. If he goes one, hey, we don't have actually any more road courses on the Cup schedule to Watkins Glen.
Yeah, until the playoffs, really.
Yeah, and Xfinity wise, I think we're the same way until then too. I know people are gonna say this is a layup, but AJ Allmendinger finished 4th with a backup car that was not prepared. Ty Gibbs is in this upcoming race. Kyle Larson is in this upcoming race. These guys, I think, a year later are much better, and it's more than likely not going to be raining. Any rain we do have might be like that freaking nuke out there that just hit. Mm-hmm. As much as he is very good, and I think that this is probably the biggest layup prediction I'll make all year, it is not a guarantee because these guys are not slouches. SVG is a great driver, and I think he's very capable of winning multiple races the rest of the year. But it's not a gimme.
You're putting it out there.
It's not a gimme.
Jarrett, you should hear this pinned comment that Eric just put from his dad.
My dad's in the chat, and he just said, "What if I mention NASCAR during the rehearsal dinner speech?"
I mean, I count the wedding as a whole experience. I don't know how we want to count it here, but if he wants to, like. He's watching. I'm just saying. Right. He doesn't count as a host. He's not a host that would influence it.
It's months away. Maybe hell forget. I'm sure he'll write down multiple drafts.
Dad's going to sleep since then.
If he, I'll say this: if he does make that, prediction come true, please literally wink at me in the audience. I will get it.
I mean, all he's got to do is just say something like I was very surprised. My son said he was going to support his life by being a YouTuber. There it is.
We've literally turned this podcast from NWP into Wedding Crashers.
Noah in the chat using comments typed by his father. All right, sorry. Who's next? Who was next? Danny?
Me, number 2. SVG will be involved in some shape or fashion in a wreck in the Cup race. That could mean he could start a wreck, be a victim, etc.
Is Austin Hill in the race?
He is.
There we go. Let's go. Neither of them have anything to lose.
That was the SVG round of predictions.
Side note: I know we're being really funny because every now and again when it's on delay, I'm hearing Claudia burst out laughing in the other room from here.
That's funny. Yeah, it's like an 8-second delay. It's like just really bad timing.
We're gonna hear it again here in just a second when she hears that part.
My last prediction is that either the city or NASCAR will confirm that the street course is back on for 2026 within a week of the Cup race. So basically by the end of next week, Chicago Street will be confirmed for a 3rd year.
Depending on Danny's prediction, this might be the Chicago Street Race round of predictions overall. I'm gonna say, and I know Eric very much disagrees on me with this prediction. And I'm not saying it's a necessarily horrible or bad thing. I said this in my video today as well. I think Chicago Street Race will be down in TV ratings year over year. Yeah. Now, I do not think it's going to be bad. I want to make that big. I'm telling you now, last year the street race around here, I'm just to let people know, I'm about 90 miles away in northern Illinois right now. I'm back home, on my old stomping grounds.
Back home
in the shitty state in the Midwest, because Indiana's much better. But I'll say this: it is. Last year was that cool thing, like, oh, do you hear this cool thing, Jarrett? Like, they're doing a race in the streets of Chicago. Now it's like, oh yeah, I heard, because so and so was saying they're going to Chicago this week for the race, and so and so lives down there. Like, I've heard a lot of stuff through the grapevine. I heard it last year. I think it's going to be a large audience. But last year, I think when you added all the streaming in, it was like 4.75. You peaked at nearly 6 million. I wouldn't be surprised if this race hit like 4.3, 4.4 million viewers. So still the second, third, whatever most watched race of the year. Either way, it's a success. If you look at the Los Angeles race, the second year, I believe it went down like 600,000 or 700,000 viewers. It was still a very good rating. There's just something about that first year that always makes a big difference. I think, though, if this race is anywhere either 100,000 below or anywhere on or over 4 million viewers, grand slam, out of the park. Wrigley's going nuts.
I think they'll clear it. This race will be on schedule this year most likely and won't be cut short by rain. I think that's going to play to its favor.
I think that's one thing that'll help. I think something else that might not be as big of a help is, like, they were pushing the line last year. Like, the city was probably going to shut them down because of darkness if it went any longer than it did. You're not pushing that prime window as well. And I know what everyone around Chicago might be thinking. I don't know what those in Chicago necessarily are thinking, other than the polls that Stern puts out, which, let's be honest, like, Stern puts out what'll help him get more stories sometimes. So I'm not necessarily saying that in a negative way. It's just, man, last year was, no pun intended, lightning in a bottle. Like, it just, everything worked in NASCAR's favor after the rain. Like, everything post-rain was really damn good for NASCAR. I think more people will attend it in person, though. I like the attendance numbers I've been hearing from those that I do know in the city. It's like, yeah, some people are saying there might be 100,000 people there. It's like,
that'd be awesome.
Damn, like, that's Road America level. So I think it'll be a success. And I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible on this. I want this to be a success, because a success in the Chicago market means that my track comes back. Like, for me, it's a means to an end here.
I see where you're going at.
But I want it to be good, because if it's good for the Chicago market, it's good for that, and it's good for NASCAR. And I do think, like, I think it's gonna be really good. Sorry. I kept it concise. Damn it, I kept it concise.
No, I was about to. Did you see what I highlighted in the itinerary? There's a note we have under this segment that says "Keep your predictions concise." And Jared, I think you went for about 7 minutes on that.
Very concise.
and I just typed in the live chat. I need to do my final prediction.
Yeah, Danny, what's your final prediction?
I can't see the chat. That's the problem.
Hooters' next race they had on the schedule of Elliott, Richmond, will be replaced by Napa. As of now, they haven't said what will replace that.
Ooh,
I like that.
that's probably a good pick. I'd be crazy if it was like just Chevy.
HendrickCars.com.
Yeah, or me. Yeah, could.
I want to see. I want to see Elliott in the HendrickCars.com one. Just.
I mean, I'd be all right with basically an inverted color scheme of Larson's scheme if they did that. Just like what's blue is white.
Hey, it's gonna be a night race too at Richmond.
That'd be
But
cool.
I think it'll be Napa.
Oh damn! That means we don't get the Night Owl anymore.
Yeah.
Those are always bangers.
It
man.
went out in style. It won a race.
Exactly.
F it, we're done.
That'll do it for the prediction segment. Before we get into our Chicago preview, I know we're going to go a little long tonight. Appreciate all of you sticking with us. It's time for the random driver of the week. We don't have theme music for this segment, but we should. Jarrett, you are going to try and stump us with dozens and dozens of clues. Chat, you can guess as well, but we're not allowed to look at your guesses, so I'm turning off the chat right here, right now. Jarrett, let's get started.
Right here, right now.
Right now. Here we go. This random driver nearly became, now by the way, this is for top 3 level drivers. Like,
We get 3 guesses.
I need to go through, yeah.
3 guesses each. Yep. Okay.
3 guesses each. If you don't guess it at the end, I win. Top 3 levels of NASCAR. Like they had to have driven in like Truck, Xfinity, and Cup. I need to say it before this first clue. This random driver nearly became an IndyCar driver in 1998.
Okay. Well. Okay. All right. That's a hint.
So I needed to preface it because it would be like.
Well, that literally is a hint, Eric.
I guess that's true. These are all hints. Okay. Sorry. Next.
This random driver built his own Shelby Cobra replica car in his garage at home.
That's really cool.
This random driver also was known in the industry as a master mechanic. Very, very good at his craft. This random driver never won a race in the top 3 series of NASCAR.
Great.
Yes. So it's going to be one of those episodes.
All right. How much time do we have?
Hopefully you just get past 8 clues, unlike last week. I didn't even do like who the last couple weeks were because it's just been Danny and Eric winning them. This random driver was named one of the 75 greatest drivers, but not one of the 50.
Ooh.
Wait, he never won a race in the top 3 series?
And he's a top 75 driver?
This random driver was also personal friends with Ken Squire. This random driver also was given high praise and regard for their involvement in NASCAR from Winston Kelly, Clay Campbell, and Dick Berggren.
I have a guess. Mike Stefanik.
Damn it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he was a New England boy. That kind of gave it away.
No! Yeah. Wow. I'm so sorry, Jarrett. That's 2 weeks in a row.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm upping it next week. Don't worry.
I was thinking it had to be like a modified guy or something like that.
I was just trying to think like who.
Especially when you named all those New England guys, like it's got to be a
Stefanik just
guy.
got into the Hall of Fame, and I was like I don't think he won any big NASCAR races. I just know he won a lot of modified stuff.
His best NASCAR top 3 series finishes actually was his second ever truck race. He finished second to Mike Wallace at Homestead. Let's see some other cool.
I wasn't sure. I thought the timing seemed right, New England, and I thought, I was just top 75 gave it away. I'm like, he had to have been great in something else. Then I was like, modifies.
I will fully admit, with it being a short week and me have been on the road all of yesterday and early today, it was like I probably got sloppy this week. So my apologies to the chat.
Did anyone in the chat get it?
I don't know. I didn't see.
Let me see.
They probably did.
A lot of people were saying J.J.
Some
Yaley.
people did get it.
Robbie Gordon, then J.J. The IndyCar clue. I thought Robbie Gordon as well. Then J.J. Yaley. Then at least one Mike Stefanik. Jeff Gordon, Wally
Well-
Dallenbach. I think only one. I think one person. I think Noah Coleman might be the first and only person who said it.
Well
done.
some other things here is he made a surprise appearance on Jay Leno in 2000, I believe, 11, 13. It was his angry interview at Daytona.
Yeah,
Oh, that makes
classic.
sense.
Yeah. Let's see. He was the Rookie of the Year in 1999 in trucks as well. Native of Rhode Island. Born in Massachusetts, though.
Cool.
Let's see if there's any other good ones. Eric is the only person on this panel to have tweeted about
Probably
Mike
when he
Stefanik.
got into the Hall of Fame, I would imagine.
Yeah, I believe your tweet was, 2 for 2 on my predictions.
Yeah.
Woo! Let's see. Hall of Famer. Never made a cup start.
I honestly did. I didn't know that, but I didn't know that he was such a great mechanic. I
This
didn't know
is
that was a big thing of him.
another one too. The Mike Stefanik won 9 NASCAR championships, tied for the most all time.
Yeah, I knew it was a crazy high number.
And someone asked how you make the top 75. You've never won. That's why.
Yeah, he won all the
Yeah.
weekly and modified stuff you could possibly win.
Two-time Busch North champion, 7-time modified champion. All of these coming between 1989 and 2006. So let's see, that is 17 years. In 17 years. In that 17-year span, he won 9 championships.
Wow,
Damn.
that's insane.
This person must be like way behind the chat because someone just randomly put Sam Hornish Jr. I'm like, you're far behind on the video.
I've done that before on live chats for like channels that I really like on some
That's
of my other
funny.
accounts, and I feel like the biggest dumbass. They're like, dude, the answer was given like 20 minutes ago. I'm like, oh shit.
That's funny. That's funny. Well,
But,
well done, Jared. I feel bad that we've gotten it so quick 2 weeks in a row, but at least
It's all right.
We look like fools about 80% of the time during this segment. It's nice that we've looked kind of smart for 2 weeks in a row. Finally, for a
And
change.
you know what? It's good too because I think I got a good one for next week. I
Oh,
think
boy.
I do.
All right.
Yeah,
He's-
or I'm completely wrong.
Okay, so we tell the chat this. A few weeks back, Jarrett infamously stumped all of us with Chad Chaffin. None of us, I hadn't even heard of him. To be
Oh,
quite
I know where
honest.
you're going with this.
We go to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway Thursday night, and I forgot that Chad Chaffin's a Tennessee boy who is there driving in. Was it the street stock
one
race?
It was the
Yes.
03 straight stock.
Chad Chaffin.
No,
was-
he was in one of the 3 threes in there, because he was in the neon blue and yellow.
Oh yeah,
3
he was
car.
the regular three.
and
There was a
did he
03
blow?
out
What
there.
happened? He did not finish the race. I forget what happened.
He was going into turn 1, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody was trying to diamond the corner and just
hit him.
knocked the
Yeah.
hell out of his right front, knocked the toe out.
That's what it was. Yeah. So
But he was charging. He
was
started
looking good.
last, and he was up to like 4th after like 9 laps. And I was like, damn, this dude, he's flying.
yeah.
And then he wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I just found it ironic that, of course, the guy we would get to see race Thursday night was Chad Chaffin, who I didn't even know existed a month ago. But so shout out to Chad Chaffin, getting way more mention on this show than probably anywhere else. That is going to do it for the Random Driver of the Week. Thank you all for getting us up over 600 likes. Huge shout out to all of you in the chat. Let's get to Chicago. Chicago Street Race, year 2. Weather looking a little bit better. Here, let's just do a full preview. It's going to be a packed field. 40 entries for the Cup race, 43 entries in the Xfinity race, going for 38 spots. If you're going to be at the race like I am, always just be aware there's a busy city. There have been reports of different union-related protests going on. Obviously, it's 4th of July weekend. Going to be chaotic, so everyone stay safe out there. We'll start with the Xfinity race. It's the Loop 110, 50 laps, 15, 15, 20 are the stage breakdowns. Race is at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday on NBC, big NBC, also on MRN and Sirius. The weather looking great, 81 degrees, partly cloudy, only a 14% chance of rain. We'll see if Cole Custer can defend his Chicago victory. And then the Cup race is the Grant Park 165, a 75-lap race. They've shortened it from last year. Last year it didn't go the scheduled distance, but they've shortened it from the original scheduled distance. 20, 25, 30 are the stage breakdowns. It's a 4:30 p.m. Eastern start on NBC, MRN. Weather's a little iffier here. It's 85 degrees, 34% chance of scattered thunderstorms. So fingers crossed. It's not going to be as bad as last year, but Hopefully it's not too disruptive. Shane Van Gisbergen will once again go for the win. He won last year in dramatic fashion, really put his name on the map here in the States at least, put everyone on notice. Let's get to the pick points then. It was a rough week for me. That's all I know. Let's check it out. Chat, you continue to lead our pick points with 308 points total. Jarrett is in second, minus 22. Danny is minus 24. I am 30 points back. I did not need all those overtimes. My boy was going to cruise to a victory. Not good. Very unfortunate. But it's a new week, new chance to make some magic happen. I guess I start off being that I'm in last place. We'll start with the Xfinity race. I get first pick. I got to go with SVG. He's won the last 2 Xfinity road course races. He won Chicago in a Cup car last year. I think he wins. Even in the dry, I think SVG wins.
Yep, that was my pick. So I'm going to go with his teammate, AJ Allmendinger.
Solid.
That puts me in a conundrum because there are 2 favorites that I really like for this race, and I don't know which one to pick. And I can't see the chat, so if I take the chat's pick, then I'm sorry, I don't know who the chat's pick is, but I'm gonna go with who was good last year in the race I saw him in, and who is on my board second at the moment. I might regret this, but I'm gonna go Kyle Larson.
That's not who they want. They want.
I bet they're going with Gibb.
They are
Cole Custer.
They are going Cole Custer.
We left friggin' Gibbs off the board.
Ty Gibbs, John Hunter Nemechek, Joey Logano. I mean, yeah. To be fair, there are a lot of big names in this race. You just roboted in the funniest way I've ever heard.
Dude, I was like, oh, is it like, wow?
No, it was like, wow.
Like, oh no, Charlie. Let's go.
Your internet better hang on. I need you to stay in this call for me, okay?
Yeah, Danny's panicking right here. His prediction.
It's a magical layout. It's a magical Leoplerodon, Charlie. All right, sorry. I butchered that. Okay. Who's going to suck, Eric?
Brad Keselowski. Although he was, I think, I looked it up, I think he was like 12th or 13th at Sonoma, which is pretty good considering his recent road course record, but I'll go with Keselowski.
He's had better results this year, but I don't see this one going well. He was in the wall, I forget how many times last year, but Noah Gragson, my suck pick.
Dang.
I think the former driver of the 10 will be very happy this weekend because I think Bubba's going to suck.
My almost pick has got to suck into the chat one. That's Kyle Busch. They're going with him.
Yeah, there's a good number of 8s. It's between Gregson and Busch. I might actually give him. It doesn't matter. They're not going to pick these guys to win. Fine, give him Kyle Busch to suck. So then we'll go with the dark horse pick. I will start with Michael McDowell. Top 10 here last year. Top 5, right, at Sonoma a few weeks back. Could knock on that the door of that playoff bubble.
Ol' MM.
I know this team has won road courses before, but I will say arguably he's in a worse car this year than he was last year. And I'm just going to have SVG as my underdog because I just don't think he'll have the car to win this time, but he'll still have a good day.
I'm going to go Justin Haley. Second last year, led a bunch of laps. It seems to be clicking with that team a bit better. Road course is a good equalizer. Really separates the driver from the cars themselves, unless you have like a real, shitbox car. I think that I think he can get a top 10 this week.
The
Chat agrees with you.
Chat says Hale, yes. Yes, Haley was second here a year ago, almost pulled off the big time upset. Let's get to who's going to win. Who will win the Grant Park 165, the second annual, Chicago street race? I am torn between these two, man. I know I get the first overall pick. It's like, I don't know. There doesn't.
Oh, I think I know the two you're talking about, man.
Probably, man. Maybe, probably. Oh, gosh. Both of these guys have fatal flaws to their game that I worry could pop up and wreck this weekend for me. I'm going to call an audible. I think I was going to pick Larson. I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick.
Okay.
Were those the top 2 on your board? Were either of them in your top 2?
No, neither of them were.
Wow, I'm shocked. Reddick wasn't?
Well, thank you for making that. Thank you for making the audible, Eric, because Larson was number 1 on mine. So thank you for giving me that one.
There you go.
Okay, Larson was 3rd on mine.
Where was Reddick?
Fourth.
Oh, okay, I guess.
I guess I wasn't part of your plan, was I?
I'm going number one on this one. My number one pick's on the board. Back to back for SVG.
Oh man, I don't.
I'm going with the men. I'm sorry.
If it rains, maybe you're on.
I'm not going to be surprised if my second pick, who was almost tied for me with SVG, I'm not going to be surprised if he is left off this one. But I'm thinking people are really overlooking him. And trust me, I was banking on Eric picking SVG because I didn't think Danny was going to pick who I have second. So who are they going with in the chat?
Chat's going with C Bell, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. That was my second pick.
Okay, yeah,
He dominated the early part of the race last year.
He did. I had Larson, Reddick, Bell in that order. I didn't need to rank 3, but I was kind of torn, so I wrote them all down anyways. And I picked Reddick. Reddick was my 2, I guess. I went with Tyler. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
I'm going to say this right now. This is, for both races, I think the most stacked 4 picks we've had all year.
Yeah, it's very top-heavy. Because no
SVG,
yeah.
AJ, Larson, Custer, and then Reddick, Larson, SVG, Bell. Like that very easy. We very easily, as the three of us,
top 5s.
Yeah, we could have picked the top 4 all right there, or they could have all finished behind Gibbs in the Xfinity race, and
they could all take each other out in a big wreck, and we are all crying at the end of the day.
And AJ's racing the Cup race too. He's in the 13 this week.
Yes,
sir.
Like this is going to be either a stinked up dominant fest in these races, or one of the best races of the year on both ends.
The fact that AJ's in the 13 though is why I don't feel confident enough in SVG, because Trackhouse can handle, fielding the 2 cars and being fine in a random 3rd car like they were last year. Colleague is struggling to handle 2 full-time cars, and then adding a 3rd one to their lineup. I'm just not convinced they're going to have the right cars.
I don't know if it might have been Haley that said it, but it sounds like the Cup Garage is petrified still of SVG and how much ahead he is. I think he said something like to the degree of like, I hope we've caught up that much this year. Like, and if I know it's one driver, but if that's what the Cup Garage is thinking, it's like SVG, like as long as you just don't get struck by lightning, if those storms roll through, you should be good.
Matthew in the chat
man.
Matthew in the chat says SVG has Allmendinger beat before he even gets out of bed.
I will say, although I had Allmendinger for the Xfinity race, I'm very confident SVG should win the Xfinity race this weekend. I think Eric's got that one locked up.
Well, we didn't even mention Austin Hill. Austin Hill's a good little road racer. Well, not little, but he's a good road racer. And you remember who he was doing that burnout behind.
I don't think Austin will be able to catch him at this one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
No, I don't either.
I'm excited. It's going to be a fun time.
I
forgot Daniel Suarez is in this race. We keep forgetting that. He's racing.
This guy just straight up said in the chat, Austin Hill is fat.
Jeez.
What? Are they saying like what I had said or their own thing? Because I feel like I've been a little more savage.
They're adding on to what you said.
Yeah, I have a feeling I've been a little more savage tonight than usual, and I don't know why.
You've been a little snippy.
Because you're in a garage.
Yeah, you're in the garage.
I'm back in my dojo.
It's the fumes. I don't know.
It's the mirrors.
On that note, thank you all for tuning in. We are going to wrap things up with our final Super Chat stage break. Let's see what you guys have been discussing for the past 2 hours. We have one here from Tragic Kel. Okay, I'm a Gen X, female, 2020 fan. Unlimited overtimes are really fun. I'll stay a fan. So there we go. We were talking about the difference between at home, at the track. Maybe there's an age and I don't want to say like experience difference as well, but interesting. Appreciate you sharing that perspective. From David Bell once again, and I do appreciate this. He says, Patreon here now. He did join my Patreon this week, which is very generous, very kind of him. Let's get Eric on a car again. Keep an eye on the fall. That might be happening, actually. Mother of all icebergs is in the chat. Mr. Iceberg, stay in your lane about the Bears-Packers rivalry. This is not a discussion you want to start at the beginning of a long holiday weekend. Maybe that's why
you're way too close to home right now, young man.
That's why you heard so much chatter in the next room over, Jarrett. They were like, can you believe he just said that on the show? Oh, my goodness.
You think I'm rooting for Green Bay? I want the Bears to win that every time.
Carson 2414 sent a 10, says, hey, NWP, Nashville, trucks, boring. How did only Eckes lead every lap with all the crashes? Xfinity, boring with 1 crash caution and way too hot. Cup, best race of the weekend. So many great surprises. Good summary right there. Tragic Kel chimed in again with a second super chat saying they should have parked the 77. I think for sure if they could have seen that in real time and reacted, then it probably would have been best. Hate to make those decisions middle of the week, but at least they eventually reacted. Garabuki with the 10. Remember, Carson got the same penalty Byron did last year for spinning Hamlin, so it fits. Unfortunately for him, the appeals panel is comprised of Hendrick fans, not Spire fans.
Bill Lester's a Hendrick fan?
Maybe that's why they did not appeal the penalty. Yeah, I don't know about that, but thank you for the super chat, Garabuki. Alex Left says, I quote Fillmore from Cars on this Kyle Busch BS. It's a conspiracy, man.
They put it in the water, man. You know who did the
who did the voice? Who is it? I don't remember. Who is it? I found out recently that Michael Keaton did the voice of Chick Hicks. I had no idea.
Yeah, he
That's
did the
crazy.
voice of Chick Hicks. It's what's his name? God damn, I know who it is. I just can't remember the name. I'm having a bad time. I'm tired as hell, guys.
I don't know who it is.
A comedian.
George Carlin? Is
George
what the
Carlin.
saying?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
He did the voice of Fillmore. Have you ever
that's
watched
fun.
George Carlin stand up?
I'm not sure that I have.
Oh, dude, he's amazing. I wish I could have seen him, except if I did see him at the time he was alive, I would have been like 7, and that would not have probably been appropriate for me. But damn, I wish I could have seen him live. I'll show you some stuff after the show tonight.
Bailey sent another super chat. Isn't it nice hearing the crowd reactions? Eyes on you, Fox. Yeah, that is true. Retro Rich, last race sucked. E's OG take was spot okay. Go number 1. I guess Retro Rich agreed with my somewhat hostile opinion of the end of the race. Glad some people agreed. A lot of people didn't. Jack says, well, I'm a huge KFB fan. I know the Blaney fans have a bath running. Can us Rowdy Nation join you? Because the 8 car is terrible this year. Goodness gracious. That's it's getting dark between the Blaney and Busch fans. Thank you for the comment, Jack. Ross Crash Dane chiming in with a 5. Does Bowman even deserve to make it? Damn. Terrible pit crew. Blake can't call a race to save his life. Whenever he's doing good, something bad happens.
He's got the 3rd most top 10s out of anyone this year. He's only behind Reddick, by the way, who has the most at 12.
Which is surprising, honestly.
And Bell.
Yeah.
He's tied with Larson in top 10s this year. Like, can we stop the Bowman slander?
He's not been terrible. He just isn't leading laps. That's the only problem.
No.
Ryan Idius says, at Canada Series at, is it Oshwegan for my first live race? Not sure how to pronounce this. I'm so sorry to all our Canadian viewers and listeners out there. But have fun. Is that happening right now, or is that like this weekend or something? Or was that last weekend? Either way, have fun. I'd love to go up and see a Canadian Series race. Have they rebranded it as officially just the NASCAR Canada Series now?
Yeah.
It's no longer
it's not
Pinty's.
the Pinty's anymore. I thought Pinty's honestly made it like have its own identity more. Like that's how I knew about it. And the few races I could watch, I was like, this Pinty series is freaking awesome.
Canada Series is more like okay, I know what that is. You tell me it's the Canada Series, I can picture that. You know what I mean? Like it's easy branding. Bailey sent 2 more super chats. Very generous tonight, Bailey. Herbst is the real GOAT, not Jimmy Johnson. Why would you even leave that comment? That was a callback to like 2 weeks ago.
I like it. Keep it going.
Bailey and also said, could have been a fun points battle, but Logano said nope. It is still really fun if we get another kind of surprise winner, but that's a big if with only 7 races to go. Eric in the chat says, Eric, use the Metro train instead of Uber. I assume at Chicago. I've taken the train at Chicago. Isn't it the L train is the main one or whatever? I used to have family that lived like an hour outside the city. We'd take one of the big Metro or whatever big trains they have into the city whenever we'd go visit. That was always kind of cool.
Don't answer if you don't want to, but like what area? I don't know. Like don't like say it if you don't want to say.
Well,
it
they don't live there
but...
anymore. But even then,
okay.
I don't even remember the name of the town. I think it started with a B, because we went
Barrington?
to. That might have been it actually. I don't remember.
Sorry, I know. Like people ripped on me last year for being critical of Chicago, but it's like I'm from around the state line. Like I know where I'm at. So
yeah. So I'm planning to get my steps in for sure and maybe ride a train this weekend. Fred Dog 81. I still don't understand why Reddick was so down on his finish. Should he be? I thought he had a good car, but finished better than expected at the end. Yeah, I mean, before the rain hit, I think he was going to finish like 7th or 8th. He hadn't gotten through the field as quickly as Denny. So all the overtimes, it was sketchy sometimes, but he got all the way up to 3rd. That's a win. I think he was probably bummed that he got blocked on the last lap. He was coming with such a head of steam. I'm sure he felt like if he maybe chose a different lane or tried something different, maybe he could have beat Logano there. And that's probably why he was bummed. But you're right. He was, even on Denny's podcast, like the next day, if you listen to it, he sounded still kind of like he was really struggling with it, which is a little surprising. Nas Carson. Hey guys, how were all the Nashville races last week? I'll be at Sunday's Cup race in Chicago. Anyone else going? Eric, anything I should check out while at race since you were there in 2023? Have fun this weekend at NASCAR. The races at Nashville were all enjoyable, hot, sweaty, but it was a good time. You will be at Sunday's race. Yeah, Chad, if anyone else is going, let us know. I'm trying to think of things you should do.
Concerts. They'll happen this year.
That's true. They should. Most, if not all, the concerts should happen this year. That was a big thing that I was really bummed did not happen last year. So that's exciting. I don't even know the schedule, but you should look into that because for sure, if it's included with your ticket, take advantage of it. Other than that, I don't know. Just enjoy the food. A lot of good food. The track is right there on Michigan Avenue and a lot of good stuff. Like there's just a lot of, like, you know, Chicago gets a bad rap and much of it is deserved. But if you stick to kind of the main paths there near where the racetrack is, I like Chicago. I like that area especially. It's fun. A lot of fun restaurants, like I said, things to do. Like there's a lot of cool things in Chicago. It sometimes feels like a slightly less dense, you know, like New York City. And there's a lot of fun things to do in New York City as well. So I just take advantage of getting away from the track. If it's a lot of foot traffic, busy, just slide into a restaurant somewhere and enjoy some good Chicago food.
Hold on one second. Let me look it up. When it comes to other things you can do, I might have something for you, depending on what time the races end. If you're coming in, no, that's the wrong month. Hold on, July. Yeah, you probably ain't going to be able to, unless on Wednesday night, you're probably not going to be able, or tomorrow night, you're not going to be able to catch a Cubs game. If you hate the Cubs, it'd be great for you because we've been sucking like hell lately.
Yeah, I went to a Cubs game last year, and that was actually a fun thing to do.
If you want to miss the first half of the race, you can go to Cubs Angels. That should be a fun time.
Battle of
Let's see. We got Friday is Cubs Beach Tote Day.
Last year,
Bobblehead Day is Saturday.
Dang, last year was cool. I didn't even know this when I bought tickets, but we ended up going on 2311 racing night, and we had Bubba Wallace threw out the first pitch to Reddick, who was catching with Kurt Busch there as like the umpire, like to wave and do all sorts of stuff, which is kind of cool. I was like, oh, nice. I know them.
And Sunday is Kids Sundays Clark the Cub Plushie Series number 3. Sounds like a crappy like direct-to-DVD movie from the 2000s.
Well, lots of good options. Chicago, again, stick to the main zones. There's a lot of fun things to do in Chicago, so just take advantage of being in the city, hopefully. Mom 9098. I like the light gold challenge. Don't make it easy for us. I like the segment, but if we always make it, what's the point? Yeah, it's true. It's someday.
That's why we upped it, though.
We did up it. It was 400 at the start of the year. We've done some 500s. Now we just tried 600. There might be a week we don't get there.
The goal is to let you guys tell YouTube you're liking it and enjoying it, so it'll spread the word and get more new friends in here with you guys in the chat.
That's our nefarious plot.
Should we raise it to 550 next week instead of 500 for my channel?
We can toy with the idea. I don't hate it.
You hear that, folks? Jared's going with the 550 package. Confirmed.
I'll do. How about this? 551, just so I don't have to say 550.
Good call. 555. Right. Let's just do that.
Oh, I like that.
Twin Spinner says with Hooters dropping off the map, it would be cool to see a one-off Hendrick Cars number 9 for that race at Richmond. That's what you were saying, Danny. That's a good call. It'd be fun to see a different spin on a classic sponsor paint scheme. Fred Dog 81, with all 3 Penske cars now in the playoffs, despite their struggles, do you think they have a solid shot at a 3rd straight championship? Yeah, absolutely, because if they get to Phoenix, I think they'll be pretty good. I still think Bell will be the best, but anything can happen. They'll be in the mix. Anything can happen. Yeah, absolutely.
Ask his brakes.
Yeah. Bell may be snake bit out in the desert. That could be possible. Alex Luft, fun poll idea. Who should be the NWP mascot? Shugs the cat, Fred the fly, Little Dude the lizard, or my dog Gordy the corgi?
Hey, if I got a dog, would we make that one mascot?
I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased for Shugs. Everyone loves Shugs.
Yeah, I don't. Shugs is fluffy.
I say the fly. We cannot divide our audience on the cat dog line.
Maybe you're right. Maybe we stick with Fred the fly. Is that his name, Fred? Okay.
We'll call him that.
All right.
It's really Shugs.
No, it's not.
Cavante Caldwell with the 10 says, what is Hendrick's order right now? What's going on with Byron?
Yeah, Byron
I've said
has
this
this
before.
going on.
Byron starts off, he gets his wins, and he says, "Hey, Bowman, scooch over. I'll be with you for a
This is
while."
literally 2022 all over again for Byron, but he's like a little bit better than he was in 2022. It's not quite as ugly, but he has. I think I looked it up. He has like one top 10 the past 5 or 6 races.
It's kind of like
we're-
regressing.
We're
to
gonna
the
feel
mean.
like Byron's done. And all of a sudden, like 5 races go into the playoffs, is gonna be like, "Here I am."
Call the ambulance, but not for me.
Super Noob says, "Hi guys, went to Nashville for the first time and was honestly disappointed by the facility, although my expectations were probably heightened by Daytona. I mean, yeah, if you're going to go from Daytona to Nashville, it's a stark contrast. But Nashville's not terrible. It's just, it was built for the Xfinity Series. It's very remote. I think it's decent, but if you've been to Daytona and that's like your baseline, yeah, Daytona, there's outside maybe Phoenix, nothing beats Daytona.
For now that we're past, originally when it reopened, it was supposed to be a 4-year contract. We actually just finished up the first 4 years, so I guess anything after this is more than what it was originally signed for. But at this point, you would think that if they wanted to be a mainstay, maybe now's the time when you think about doing some more permanent upgrades to the facility, because it has been, for the most part, left entirely alone since it come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't touch on this, but the Homestead Miami Speedway got a new track president, and something he said on it about when they asked about the finale is like, we need to earn it. And part of that is building the track up. And I think that needs to be the mindset of all track presidents, owners, all of it. That needs to be the mindset.
I agree. Bailey with a couple more here. What's y'all's favorite Tony Stewart paint scheme, since he's probably not going to race again in NASCAR? That, I don't remember what the year would be. Would it have been 2002 Home Depot, where it had a lot of like kind of white sort of streaks on the side?
Wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wave.
I forget what the name of it was, but those
That
early
was-
Home Depot schemes were really good.
02 to 04.
Yeah, it was around that era. I think it was his championship season he drove it.
My favorite one, and I've always been a fan of like schemes that are the same, but in like change colors depending on the sponsor. Like when Junior was Junior 08, 09, 2010, it was like the same scheme, but blue for National Guard, green for Amp Energy. I always liked his first year of his team, 09. He had the Office Depot one was nice, but that Old Spice one of that kind of
That's a good one.
that kind of glittery silver look with it, the same swooshes and stuff. I like that look.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go boring. I'm gonna go real boring. But I'm a sucker for simple schemes. The 05 to 07, where it just sort of
Yeah,
the
it's just
black.
orange. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just orange. It
And
has like the black rails on it and the little black trim on the bottom.
Yep.
But it's simple. It's so simple. I love it. I know people call it boring. I know it's just my taste,
It's
but
nostalgic. I like that. It's simple. It was reminiscent of an older era.
well, that's what I loved about like that whole era. Is just like you had Junior with just the flat red car. You had Jimmy with like you had a little bit on it, but it was mostly like silver and
The
blue
green
and,
Bobby Labonte, the blue,
Gordon with the flames,
the blue or navy, Rusty Wallace car.
the blue deuce. It was like, for me, like. I feel like, and I know a lot of designers would get mad at me about saying this, but it's like, there's too many squiggles on cars nowadays. Like there's like the back then the first one that really did it for me that I was like, oh, that's just too much was Greg Biffle. It was just like freaking scribbles all over the side of the car with a 3M car. Like there were years where it's just like, dude, like, dial it back, bro, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I just, I even if it's multiple colors or some designs, it's like kind of like what we did with our car. Like what I liked when we did with our car is just 2 main colors.
Yeah.
We didn't have to jump the shark.
We didn't clutter it too much. That's like I loved Chastain's Nashville Busch beer car this weekend when you looked at it up close, but when you looked at it at a distance blazing by, it was a little, I don't know, it was a little too busy. I don't think it hit the same way. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Look good on TV.
Bailey says, prediction, Eric will curse before next week's show. I've been good tonight. Jarrett's been falling back to early seasons. Wade Lamb says, does Truex get a win this year? I think he does. I think he will. He's been too close.
Danny, I think he hit the mic, but it sounded like a gong going off. He just went,
I didn't mean to.
Don't worry about it.
I was actually going back and looking at Tony Stewart paint schemes, and I realized if you look at his 08 scheme and then also look at his 02 scheme, they're actually pretty much the same scheme. Just 02 was white, and then 08 it was black, basically.
They always forget the Toyota year.
Yeah, I forgot that Tony. Yeah, it is easy to forget Tony drove a year for Toyota.
He didn't win a race, even though on the
no,
books he had one.
Toyota was, still on the come up back then. Bailey with a few more here. NASCAR not simulcasting on Peacock is annoying. Use it, please, and thank you. Part of why I pay for it. Wrestling being the other part. Yeah, I wish fans could choose to either pay for cable or streaming and not feel like they have to pay for both. That is very frustrating. And then Bailey says, wasn't part of the plan. C. Bell looking at you intently. Bailey also said Riley Herbst had a great Xfinity race with no suit. There's a couple drivers that battled cool suit or AC problems, but Herbst finishing, I think, 6th was very impressive. I agree. Hello Fresh said, Jarrett, did you go to Germany to get your haircut?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I also got painting lessons too.
Yeah.
In Austria, by the way.
Scrapyard says 5 for 5 says Richard Petty turned 87 today, so happy birthday to the king. Yeah, I've said happy birthday to the one and only Richard Petty. Dislike says, can we get CM Punk to wave the green flag at Chicago, or what's the tie-in there?
Oh yeah, because he's from Chicago. That'd be fun.
Okay, cool.
Have they announced who the special guests are this weekend?
I don't think so. Dislike says, sorry, that was dislike. Christian Forrest says the crappy Chicago White Sox are terrible. Good God.
Hey, they might be the Nashville White Sox soon.
Just venting in our chat here. I respect it. And finally, from Fred Dog 81, Dark Horse mascot pick, the ambulance that always drives by Jarrett's house.
They won't be there this week.
Yeah, Jarrett's in the lightning zone.
Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo.
Jarrett exchanged red trucks for a red car today.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
That is going to do it for our Super Chat stage break. Thank you all so much for staying with us tonight. Had a great time. Good conversations. Thank you all for being flexible and jumping on Tuesday night instead of our normal Wednesday show. Appreciate both of you as well being flexible. Glad we could all make this work tonight. Finally, I guess I should mention one more time that next week, let me throw up the graphic. Yes, next week we will be on the Icebergs channel on Wednesday, July 10th. We'll recap Chicago, get everyone ready for whatever race is after Chicago. I don't actually know. Is it Pocono? Is it
Pocono?
Pocono. All right.
Which that's been actually pretty fun the last couple of years.
It has been fun. And on these next two shows, the post-Chicago and post-Pocono show, we'll be joined by John Ramos and then David Land. Should be a good time, a great time, a fantastic time.
Perfect. Absolutely great.
That David Land week leads right into the return of the Brickyard 400. American flags in the chat. 4th of July, Thursday. Everyone be safe, have fun, celebrate this great United States of America. Thank you all for joining us on NWP tonight. Have a fun weekend. We'll catch you next week. Take care, y'all.
Are we muted?
Not now. Give me like 1 second.
Drivers! Start your engines!
Ready. Green flag. All rolling. All the way out. Stay in. Come on. Bye-bye, Sonny. See you later. These guys are really good. Keep digging. Stay in the gas. Hang on, dude, baby. Did not hit a thing. Why are you waiting so long, man? Bottom clear, shaking you down here. White flag. Hit your mark. Let's go, boys! Woo! Yeah, boys! Oh, awesome year, man. Thank you so much. Hell of a job, drivers.
Overtime number 1, gentlemen.
Are we still muted?
Nope.
Oh, man. Oh. And they crashed. We got to end this overtime.
Oh, nope. Overtime number 2. What is going on? Where did everybody go? Oh, all right. Well,
Hold on.
what the heck? Overtime number 3. We got Dino. Did Danny die? Oh no. Oh God. Turn it off.
Um, uh,
What is happening?
are you winning, son?
How's it going, everybody? And
Do
welcome
it for
to Out of the Groove. I am
Daniel!
Daniel Baldwin. I took
Overtime
over
number
Eric's channel. I am
5!
now
Let's
Out of the Groove man here, right here.